Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdcast. It is Devin broadcasting as always, live from an undisclosed location in the center of Texas on a pretty chill Thursday evening. How's everybody doing out there? I am doing okay myself. Still without my automotive vehicle, although at least they got back with me today, so figure out how much.
Becky said evening.
Yo, what's up, Vince? Welcome back to the stream. How you doing? Figured out how much I'm gonna have to pay to get my car back. I also realized I've always known I've been super isolated out where I live, but it wasn't until I didn't have a car that I realized just exactly how extremely isolating it is. I literally can't do shit. I tried to order food from a number of different places, and they all were like, we don't deliver to your area. Like, I had to Grubhub. Like, I ordered pizza, and there were only two options for me. Only two options for me on Grubhub for ordering pizza. One was Little Caesars, which I haven't had since the 80s, honestly. And the other was 7-Eleven. So if I'm gonna spend money on a delivery pizza, it's not gonna be 7-Eleven. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's go with Little Caesars. I haven't had it since I was a kid. Maybe it's still around, so they must be doing something right. So I ordered my Little Caesars tonight too, and it took 83 minutes for them to deliver it to me. So it sucks. I can't go anywhere. I've never felt more convinced to, and this is the worst time to do this too. Never felt more convinced to sell this house, or at least try to. And I realize if I do that, I'm pretty much SOL on ever getting home ownership at any other point in time in the future. But at the same time, I am just on the back end of a lot of really bad deals.
Becky said Little Caesars isn't that bad emo, but it's not great. I like their crazy bread and the little popper things they have.
It wasn't bad. I've had worse pizza. I've had worse pizza than Little John's. Than Little Caesars. Actually, Little John's just reminded me of there used to be a sandwich chain. I don't know how prolific they were outside of military bases, but on military bases, there used to be a sandwich chain called Robin Hood's. And I think I used to get the Little John's when I went to Robin Hood's. Their sandwiches, I could be just misremembering, they were fucking amazing. They were my favorite sandwich place. And nothing could touch them. Let me see. Robin Hood Sandwich Shop and Deli. What, there's still one operating? This is a Facebook page. Where is it going to take me? Oh, of course my brother likes this page. He's got the memories just like me. To my knowledge, oh, this is from February 16, 2016. To my knowledge, Robin Hood has closed on most, if not all, bases. This is just a fan page, not the official page. I love it. Oh, why am I so tired? A Robin Hood's fan page. It's still alive and kicking on Camp Casey. There's a Robin Hood on Whitman Air Force Base still. Well, these are also posts from 9 years ago. Robin Hood on Whitman Air Force Base. Wait, where's Camp Casey? Seoul. 40 miles north of Seoul, South Korea. Oh, this little sign means so much to me right now. This was a sign that meant that you were about to get a really good sandwich. I wonder if they have a picture of the menu. Turkey Caesar, crisp chicken, grilled chicken. I think this is marinara. These are salads. Those only pictures they have? Lame. Oh. Well, how are you doing tonight, Vince? Oops. How's your night treating you?
Street Corner Becky said growing up in New Mexico there was a pizza place I liked called Pudge Brothers, only existed there in Colorado.
Pudge Brothers. That's a good name for any kind of food place. Bungie boss Pete Parsons out after 23 years. Jesus. Did they fire him or did he just retire? Leaving after 23 years, fellow veteran Justin Truman will take over. The storied Halo studio struggles with flagging interest in Destiny 2.
Street Corner Becky said I'm good, just playing around on PS3 emulator.
How old is Destiny 2? I haven't played either of those games. Actually, I was talking to Lauren last night. She was messaging me. She just started working. She just started working at Sega in Japan. She works for Atlas on the Persona team. And she was telling me, now that I work on the Persona team, you need to play Persona on your stream. I was like, all right, sure. I mean, I've never played any of the Persona games, but I'm down. I guess I gotta find some Persona games. She was recommending some to me, so I guess at some point I'm gonna do that. But she started working at Atlas. I guess this was her first week, which is cool.
Street Corner Becky said, did you see the Star Trek Voyager game I linked on Discord? Apparently that's coming soon, and a Star Trek game called Star Trek Infected.
Yeah, I did. I watched the trailer. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't really care for Voyager as a show, I would probably be excited about it. But I feel a certain way about Voyager. I actually, you know what? I've been thinking a lot about the Holodoc on Voyager, because he was my favorite character. I love the Holodoc, and I feel like that's probably the direction that AI is going to go in healthcare at some point. I know right now there's this talk of AI being in a bubble, which it is, and the bubble bursting, which it might be, and that leading to...
Becky said the Doctor will be in Starfleet Academy.
Starfleet Academy, what is that? I'm sure all the bad things are probably going to happen to the AI bubble, as most bad things happen to hyperinflated bubbles. But I don't think that means that AI is on the way out. I don't think it means it's on the way out. I think it means that a lot of...
Becky said the new show they have coming next year.
I think it means that a lot of... the AI space is just full of charlatans right now, and I think a lot of those guys will be burned away. But we'll just have to see how that goes. I think the AI bubble crashing is probably going to end up being a good thing for labor in the long run, but it'll probably be a bad thing for the economy, considering that our federal government is investing billions upon billions into like this doomed bubble. Oh, there's a new Star Trek show then. I need to catch up on the old shows. After more than 2 decades of helping build this incredible studio, establishing the Bungie Foundation, and growing inspiring communities around our work, I have decided to pass the torch. Okay, so it sounds like he is just like done and bouncing. Aren't Bungie in a lot of like legal problems right now? IGN reported that a soul-crushing atmosphere among some staff in late 2023 amid the first round of cuts.
Becky said Robert Picardo was also in Star Trek Prodigy Season 2.
Around the first round of cuts, as Bungie's independence with Sony began to crumble following the declining fortunes of Destiny 2, Parsons came under fire during the 2024 layoffs after listings for his sports car collection indicated millions in purchases following the lucrative 2022 sale to Sony, even as rank-and-file staff were given pink slips. Oh boy. More recently, Bungie has faced an uphill battle with Marathon, the extraction shooter revival of one of its oldest franchises. The game was supposed to come out in September, but was indefinitely delayed following a middling reception to a closed alpha earlier this year and a plagiarized art scandal. That's what I remember, the plagiarized art scandal. That saw the team forced to overhaul marketing assets, including trailers, to remove elements created by an outside artist. Yeah, Bungie is going through it right now, so guess I can't say I'm super surprised this dude decided to bounce. Overwatch 2 is getting a Persona crossover. Maybe I can talk to Lauren about this. Those are two games I don't have any experience with, Overwatch and Persona. So I guess it's high time I get familiar with one. Somehow Lauren always ends up finding herself like working on the cutting edge of these things. She was at Nintendo for the launch of the Switch and all of that. Now she's working on the Persona team as they're about to do a crossover with Overwatch and shit. Alright, enough of that. We're doing Community Reacts tonight. And first up on the docket, I'm gonna watch this John Campea thing. This is Piracy is making a comeback.
Street Corner Becky said Overwatch basically plays like Marvel Rivals.
Oh yeah, I know. I know that Marvel Rivals is just an Overwatch clone.
That down.
I know that Marvel Rivals is just an Overwatch clone, but I was never interested in Overwatch. And if Marvel Rivals didn't have the Marvel skin, I wouldn't be interested in that either. I wouldn't have played it if it was a generic game, but it was a Marvel game that had really cool depictions of Marvel characters, so I wanted to play it. Alright, this is John Campea. Now, when I was a regular over on Max's channel, that was pretty much my first...
Street Corner Becky said Campea is one of the few pop culture news people Laura will watch with me, cause it's not 10 dudes on a panel.
Fair point. But isn't it like 5 dudes on a panel? Or I guess he's just talking to a bunch of producers. Yeah, when I was a regular on Max's channel, that was basically my first introduction to John Campea, because I usually don't. What the fuck? Someone in my backyard with a flashlight. I don't usually partake in the movie talk stuff, and I never really had an interest in it. Kelly, who used to appear on the show pseudo-regularly many years ago, he followed Campea and Collider and all of that stuff, so I would always hear about it from him, and then watch whatever Max was reacting to on his channel. So I don't have a tremendous amount of familiarity with them, but I am somewhat familiar with them. And I don't think I disagree with most of his takes in general. But it's been a while, so Vince, you threw this into the React channel, so I'm going to react to it here. Piracy is spiking globally as streamers get worse and more expensive. I don't think this is like a controversial opinion right there. That's just a stated matter of fact. Zack Snyder's The Last Photograph. I did see that he wanted to, like, I guess this is like a quote-unquote real movie from Zack Snyder that he's been itching to get into production. Lumia stream. What the fuck? So, Yeah, let's go ahead and watch this and see what he has to say. I also did a video on this not too long ago. I don't think. When did I do that video? I'm an old man that rants at the clouds so often that it's hard for me to keep track of when my rantings occurred. Oh, when was this? Really? Was it before? Was it before I went to Japan? No, it couldn't have been. Oh, it was. Okay, yeah, I did it May 3rd, 2024. Titled "Streaming Services All Suck Now." Parentheses except Shudder. Huh, I forgot that this was before I went to Japan. Anyways, let's watch Campia.
That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Piracy has always been an issue. I mean, going back to Napster, right? Anybody remember Napster? Ooh, that was a big deal at the time. Wait a minute. I can download music for free?
Not
It's
if
the
Metallica
craziest
says
thing.
so.
It's the craziest thing. And it like took over the world. There's never going to stop Napster. Well, they stopped Napster. But, you know, Napster got stopped because the industry evolved. Apple Music, iTunes came out with this idea. You know what? We're going to make it simple and cheap for you to acquire this music. What was it, like $1 a song or whatever it was at the time? And you can download legally, showing that, listen, people are totally fine with paying for the content they get if it's convenient and reasonably priced. If it's convenient, reasonably priced, and simple to do, and therefore Napster kind of dried up and went away. We saw for a good number of years anti-piracy campaigns and moves and things like that started to work. As going up to about 2020, we saw declines in piracy.
I don't think the anti-piracy campaigns worked. I think it's really just a cost-benefit comparison between the technical know-how needed to actually effectively pirate, plus keeping yourself safe from downloading viruses and malware, measured against the ease and relatively painless process of signing up for like a $5 a month subscription. Like, I think nobody really cares about anti-piracy. Like, you wouldn't download a car. Like, yeah, fuck yeah, I would download a car if I had the ability to. Like, it's not stopping me. The only thing that's stopping me from like stealing a car is having to physically go out and steal a fucking car. If I could download a car, I would do it in a fucking heartbeat, and so would other people. Like, it's all about like the ease of which you can do a thing and get away with it versus, you know, paying for it outright. So I think that the anti-pirate, like the greatest anti-pirate, it's like what Gabe from Valve, Gabe Newell from Valve says, piracy is a service problem. Like, if services are great, then that's a good service is the best anti-piracy platform, anti-piracy program. A good service offered at a fair price is the best anti-piracy program. Period. So I kind of disagree with him on that take, that anti-piracy movement propaganda worked. I would totally download a Lambo. You would download a fucking Nissan Leaf if you could.
But piracy is back, matey, and stronger than ever and resurging. There's this great article right now in The Guardian where the headline is "Can't Pay, Won't Pay," and impoverished streaming services are driving viewers back to piracy. As subscription costs rise and choice diminishes on legal sites, film and TV fans are turning to VPNs and illicit streamers, with Sweden, home of both Spotify and the Pirate Bay, leading the way. As a matter of fact, one of the things statistics mentioned in this is the fact that these are people who admit it. 25%
I think I'm covering his face now.
that they will illegally stream things. Here's another interesting thing. Like back in the day of pirate, you can take that down now, Jonathan. Back in the day of Pirate Bay and stuff like that, the way we pirated was we downloaded files. Now they're saying 94% of the piracy that's happening is illegal streaming. They don't download the files like through a BitTorrent. They find a site, a black site, and stream it.
Compare like speaking counter to what I was just saying about the threat of, well, the technical know-how needed to pirate, and then the threat of downloading malware. That makes sense that it's the illegal streaming sites that are seeing the uptick in piracy rather than someone going to BitTorrent. That does make sense. Of course, you're still very susceptible to malware going to any one of those sites. But I remember way back in the day, I used to go to, I can't remember what it was called, but I used to watch a lot of stuff on one of those sites too. And it was a penny saver for certain. So I forgot that those sites existed, honestly. I had gotten too used to popping on my Roku. I had completely forgotten about that site. It's still advised to use a VPN with those sites since a lot of bandwidth and your ISP can see what you're doing. That's true as well.
Stuff like that. Interesting stuff. So what's behind all this? What's been going on? Well, there's a number of kind of things that have been evolving that have created a fertile ground for a rise in piracy. First of all is price increases, right? You can bring up my screen there. Yeah, price increases.
Damn it.
Right now, the cost of Disney Plus ad-supported tier. Remember, Disney Plus did not start when I was in high school. Disney Plus started just a couple of years ago.
Wait, how old are you, John?
It happened just a couple of years ago. Mandalorian season 1. And today, the price of Disney Plus's ad-supported tier is more expensive than Disney Plus with no ads was when it first launched. The prices of these stream, and it's not just Disney Plus, and Disney Plus isn't even the worst. I've lost count of how many times Netflix has announced price increases over the line. The prices just keep going up and up and up at an incredibly rapid rate, far outpacing inflation. You can't just go, well, inflation. No. The price increases are vastly outpacing
2019,
inflation.
I think.
Also, the second.
Yeah, that was when on the YouTube channel. This was before I started streaming on Twitch. I would upload reactions, not really reactions actually. It was more of reviews. Justin and I would review each episode of The Mandalorian when that launched. So yeah, that was late 2019. That was right before, because first we did The Mandalorian, and then right when The Mandalorian ended was when Netflix dropped season 1 of The Witcher, and we did one over The Witcher 2 in December of 2019. Oh man, it's so weird to think back on 2019 as being like the halcyon days.
Kind of factor here is dispersal of content. It used to be like, let's take the iTunes store when it first came out. You can get all your music on iTunes. There was one place you could go and you can get your music. Then competitors came out, but still you can go to any one of the competitors and get whatever music you wanted. Not that long ago, you didn't have to go all over the place to get a lot of streaming. But as all the studios started developing their own streamers as alternatives to Netflix, suddenly there was no centralized stuff to get all your content. You want to watch Landman? Got to have Disney Plus. You want to watch Daredevil Born Again? You got to have Disney Plus. Or Paramount Plus was for Landman.
Yeah.
Disney Plus. Here, you want to watch the new Harry Potter series? You got to have HBO. Hey, you want to watch reruns of The Office? You got to have Peacock. You want to watch, now you've got to have all these streaming. Hell, even if you.
Let me think of what do I have? Because I feel like I've canceled some stuff, but I don't think I've canceled enough. I canceled my Paramount Plus for sure. I have Shudder. I have Netflix. I canceled my. You know what? I canceled my Disney Plus, but I pay for Hulu, which I think, I don't know, they're going to merge those two, I think, here soon. So I may end up being back on the Disney Plus train just by way of Hulu. But I canceled my Disney Plus and I do pay for Hulu. So that's Shudder, Hulu. I don't think I do HBO Max anymore, but I have to check on that. Shudder, Hulu, Netflix, Prime, Amazon Prime, because I just pay for Prime in general. You know what? I probably pay for Crunchyroll. I probably pay for more that I just can't think of because I probably don't use it ever. Paramount Plus was that way for a long time. I got Paramount Plus to watch Picard, and then after Picard ended, it just stuck around, and I didn't think to cancel it until they pulled that shit with Stephen Colbert. So I think I only have 5 now. I don't know. I might have HBO Max, but I have to check. What are the ones that I used to watch that I paid for? Because I use a friend of mine's Peacock, and you know what? I just remembered. Through Amazon Prime, I think I do pay for like MGM, which is, I don't know what the fuck. That was because me and my friend wanted to watch that TV series called From. It kind of had like Lost meets Twin Peaks kind of vibes, but it wasn't that good of a show. But I was going to cancel it because I signed up on a free trial and I was going to cancel it, and then they were like, "Hey, you could pay 3 cents a month for this for like the next 6 months if you don't cancel." And I was like, "Fine, I won't cancel." Which, by the way, that's your giveaway. That's your giveaway that these streaming services, they aren't strapped for cash. They aren't as, we're just struggling to reach our margins. We gotta raise the prices to $20 a month with ads. We're just struggling so much. No, man, if they're willing to be like, "Hey, pay us a nickel a month for the next 6 months," so that you're just used to a nickel coming out, you don't even think about it. You lose track of it, and then after that 6 months, we jack it back up to fucking $20, and then you're none the wiser. If they can get away with charging 5 cents, or it's not as low as 5 cents, but it's close. It's like maybe $1. It was like $1 or something like that. If they can get away with that, then that means that they can just offer that service at that price in general. And all of these other inflated prices and these ad tiers and shit are just used to rake you over the coals. I paused it on a screen that makes it look like he's having a religious experience, like he's staring into the face of God. It's more about hoping you forget about it 6 months later, and then they charge you the full amount for 6 months more. Yeah, exactly. I know, and they probably got me because I totally forgot. Kudos to MGM, I guess. I forgot that I had them until literally just right now. As a matter of fact, I wonder if I can pull up my Amazon over here and see if I can. They'll probably be like, "You can only cancel this if you log in on your fucking Villa Gobbler." I'm like, what? I don't want to go over there and fucking try to figure that shit out. Memberships and subscriptions. Oh, Jesus. Prime is fucking $140 a year. You know, when I first signed up for Amazon Prime, it was $99 a year. It's this fucking 100. Acorn TV? The fuck is Acorn TV? I have a subscription to Acorn TV? Why? What is on Acorn TV? The fuck? I must have okay, it looks like they have a lot of new movies here. I must have have done it to like watch a new movie at some point in the past and then just fucking forgot about it. Why in the mother of fuck do I have Acorn TV? That's $8.99 a month. So for however many months I've had this, I've just been pissing $10 or $9 to Amazon or to Acorn via Amazon. You know what? I'm gonna hit that fucking cancel. Hit that cancel button right now. Oh, here they go. Here they go. Let me check and make sure. Please, sir, please, kind sir, do not cancel your Acorn TV. We'll charge you just $4.99 per month for 3 months. Just stick around, sir. Do not cancel, please. Please, no. Well, get fucked. I already fell for that once. Accept offer. Nope. Cancel and refund now. Accidental purchase. It's possible this was an accidental purchase. I have no recollection of why I even have this fucking thing. Okay. Okay, so Acorn TV has been canceled. MGM Plus, they're charging me $6.99 a month. How is it Acorn TV was charging me more than MGM? Acorn TV is a British American subscription streaming service offering television programming from Australia, Canada, and other Commonwealth countries. Oh wait, you know what? I probably signed up for Acorn TV so that I could watch episodes of Jack Taylor. That would have been about a fucking year ago, though. Holy shit! All right, cancel MGM Plus. Oh, they aren't going to. They aren't going to. Wait, what? Oh, okay, I see what they're saying. Yeah, MGM Plus already offered me their penny deal, so they're not offering me one. They're telling me though, we have options for you. They go, we have some options for you. Turn off auto renew and watch until August 22nd or keep current subscription. These aren't options. This is the thing I want to do. I want to just get out of here. You're not giving me any real options. Yeah, turn this off. Okay. Oh, I'm glad I did that. I forgot that. I mean, that's 2 services I was paying for that I didn't even have any kind of recollection of. Let me make sure. Okay, so Acorn is toast. MGM Plus ends on. Wait. Oh, it ends tomorrow. It ends at the stroke of midnight. So I guess if there's something I want to watch on MGM Plus, I better do it right now. God damn. I wonder what else. There's no telling now. Now there's no telling what else. I mean, Amazon made it easy for me to find that. Who knows what else I'm paying for from some random ass channel on my Roku. Shit. I mean, at least I know I'm paying for Crunchyroll, but there could be, who knows, there could be plenty of others. Glad I had you react to this to get you thinking about it, lol. Yeah, your react suggestion just saved me some money, so thank you. Thank you. It was a very budget friendly react here. I advise all of you out there to go and look to see what it is you're actually paying for. Isn't there a service called, is it called Paybill? Oh, by the way, that noise you hear is oh shit, what the fuck? Why is that so giant? I have a bowl here. We're rolling some bones. If you want to get in on a game of threes, I'll roll for you. I'll roll for you. We can get in on a game of threes. Pay bill. That doesn't seem right. Rocket Money? Oh, yeah, they did get bought by Rocket Mortgage or something, didn't they? I wonder, how much do you have to pay for Rocket Money? You got to pay a subscription so you could cancel your subscriptions. Okay, it looks like they have a non-pay tier that you can use to at least figure out your subscriptions. I may have to do that a little later. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see.
If you're a football fan, you want to see every game? Well, you got to have an Amazon Prime Video account to watch the Thursday games. You got to have ESPN's account to watch these games. You're going to have I mean, it's
ESPN. Do I pay? No, I don't think I pay for ESPN anymore. I think for a moment I used to have ESPN Plus. I don't even know where to fucking... Oh, okay. It got folded into... If it got folded into Disney, then I don't pay for it anymore.
It's just, there is no centralized content. So now, if you want to just be a viewer of all the popular stuff, you got to have like 7 or 8 memberships. So price increase, dispersal of content. And the third thing that's becoming a bigger and bigger question mark is the question of ownership or the lack thereof. It used to be, once you downloaded that song, you owned it. I mean, you didn't own the rights to the song, but it was your song. You can put it on your, what was it called? Your, what was the Apple device called again?
He forgot an iPod?
iPod?
The iPod.
It's all about the Zune, baby.
Yeah. Hey, you download it. You could put it on your Zune.
Zune HD.
You could put it on your iPod. You could put it on your little Asus MP3 player.
Oh, yeah.
You could I still had one of those about the size of a thumb drive.
Yep.
You could hold up to 12 songs on it, Jonathan.
Dude, it's good enough for a run. You go on a run, you got your...
12 songs.
Yeah.
I miss mine.
Plug
needs
your
more.
headphones into it because there was
needs
no
more than
Bluetooth.
I burned them to CDs.
But today now, like, you can buy a copy of a movie and then theoretically, it's never happened to me, but theoretically speaking, that service in 2 years could just remove it from their libraries and you get no refund and you're just out of luck. So price increases, dispersal of content, questions of ownership. You know, there's a saying going around now that says, if buying doesn't equal ownership, then piracy doesn't equal stealing. That's not true, but I understand why people say it. I do. And here's the thing, Rob. Listen, stealing is stealing. It just is. Just because a Ferrari is too expensive for me to afford doesn't justify me going and taking it.
No.
Right? Yeah. Hey, this stuff is unreasonable. That doesn't justify stealing it. But I understand the motivation.
I ain't saying you should have killed her.
Yeah.
But I understand.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Prize Picks.
Prize Picks?
What a to jump into
thank you on
less
that.
Times or a lineup
You
in just
can't-
under a minute. Plus, they have a
can't-
couple of weekly features, like for example, Flex.
You can't rant about the degeneracy of streaming services and then jump head on into, wait, why was it sped up? It looks like my playback speed is normal. And then like segue directly into like a gambling promo.
Flex Friday. So after you play your first $5 questions of ownership. But here's the thing that really shocks me. All right. These are the numbers. Take a look at this. So as we look at these things of price increases, dispersal of content, question of ownership, as piracy was declining up till 2020, visits to piracy websites have surged from 130 billion site visits in 2020, which is still a lot, to 216 billion site visits in 2024. Up until
In a year.
in 4 years. Yeah, per year.
Yeah. Now there ain't but 8 billion people on the whole planet.
Yeah.
Can you dig it?
They
Can you dig it?
were combating piracy well. People were moving away from piracy because tools were coming out, like when iTunes came out, that made it simpler, reasonably priced, straightforward. But as it's gotten more convoluted, as it's gotten more expensive, as it's became more dispersed, and now with all these questions about do you even own the damn thing? From 2020 to 2024, that's nearly double. And
I'm not
by the way,
shocked by
they
that
don't
at all.
obviously have the 2025 numbers now, but they're projecting the 2025 numbers are going to go from 216 billion to 275,
I'm not shocked
which
by that
is
at
more
all.
than double than just 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And Rob, again, it's not justified, but I get it. And at what point, Rob, does a shift happen, like the iTunes moment? You know, when Steve Jobs and the folks at iTunes said, okay, look, it's becoming harder and more expensive, and now these new tools to make it accessible. What do we need to do to respond? They came up with iTunes. They made it simple. They made it affordable. And everybody was happy.
Except the artists.
But the artists are less happy.
That's the important part. Like, that's not a throwaway joke. And like, this is what I was going to say before he said that. You're not going to find, and I know that I have a tendency to turn basically any kind of discussion political. You're not going to find a capitalist solution to this, because this was always the end state of capitalism. The owners of these properties will do anything and everything they can to extract as much value from it as they can legally. Like, if they could get away with running shows with slaves, they would use slaves. They would have slaves running the camera. They would have slaves in the writing rooms. Like, they would get away with it. If they could get away with it, they would use slaves. Barring the fact that they can't get away with that, they'll get away with literally anything else. They'll get away with, putting all of their product on a siloed streaming service so that it's paywalled by, their own gate. If you want to get in and watch it, you pay us money. And oh, by the way, since we also own this silo, all of the creatives that contribute their work to the properties that people are paying to get in and see, we're going to pay you as little as fucking possible. So you're not getting paid the royalties you used to make. We're cutting down writers' rooms, and we're not keeping writers on board for shows whenever shows are actively being run. Like, writers are only involved in a very small amount of the project right up front, and then they're jettisoned to the wind and have to work at an Applebee's, only to figure out while they're washing dishes at an Applebee's that show that they wrote for was nominated for an Emmy. They go to the award show renting a tuxedo they can't afford. Hopefully they win, but it doesn't really matter whether they win or not, because chances are they're just going to go right back to working at that Applebee's right after the award show. But you know what? The prestige of an Emmy award-winning show works great for the IP owners, because they get to use that to drive more people into their little siloed camp of products that, oh, by the way, it's so hard to make these shows. We're just pushing our margins here, so we gotta raise the cost of entry up from, I know we were charging $5, but now we're gonna charge $15. So you gotta pay $15 to get in here. We've got these Emmy award-winning shows. Don't you want to see don't you want to see why this show won an Emmy? You gotta pay $15. And oh, by the way, you're gonna start showing you ads too. So, we just got to make ends meet over here. We're all struggling, right? We're all struggling. We're all in the same boat, aren't we? and then they're making money hand over fist. They're banking. You know, they wouldn't still be operating these streaming services if they weren't, to be honest with you. But they need everybody to think that they're just struggling on the margins. And this idea that, well, you know, Steve Jobs came up with a great suggestion for how we could move away from pirating songs and funnel people into an easy platform for them to provide us with their commerce, and they can still get access to their songs. It's painless, it's easy, etc., etc. But even the end state of that is like the thing that doesn't get discussed is there's always a but then. You know, there's always a but then, which is, but then when we corner the market, we can raise prices, we can degrade the service a little. You know, we could do this, we could do that, we could pay fewer royalties. The more artists we have on board, the more power we could have to cut back on the royalties, especially if those artists, if we cut out the competition. Oh, there's Flomper. Flomper is over there providing streaming services for musicians or purchases, digital store purchases for musicians, and they offer way more of a revenue share. Well, we're gonna push Flomper out of business, or we're just gonna acquire them. We're just gonna go over there with a fat sack of cash, and we're gonna buy Flomper. So now Flomper is part of iTunes. And oh, by the way, all of you artists who were getting residuals from your Flomper sales, well, now those are all iTunes sales. So we're gonna cut all that shit down too. All of it will eventually funnel into the exact same mechanism, which is, you know, capital owners are going to vie for a monopoly of the market, and then with that monopoly, they're going to do everything they can to basically Sheriff of Nottingham each and every person they can out of every penny they have, whether it's consumers or their own labor. They're going at it from both ends. They're going to pay their artist as little as humanly possible to make their product, and then they're going to charge the customers as much as humanly possible for that product. And then if they can get a double cherry on top, they're going to make sure that that customer doesn't own that product. You're going to pay me to own it, but you're not going to own it, and then I'm going to take it away from you at some point and then make you pay a premium to get it back, if I can get away with it. All of it is just a function of whether or not they can get away with it. And we're seeing this actually, we're seeing it everywhere. I did a video years ago about how an EV company was positing the idea of paywalling car functions behind a subscription fee, or either a subscription fee or just like a DLC. And I think Volkswagen actually just announced something like that. I think it was Volkswagen. I could be... I never know how to spell Volkswagen. I could be wrong. Yeah, it was Volkswagen. Car buyers have to pay extra to unlock horsepower on Volkswagen vehicles, an uphill battle subscription model that has drawn the ire of customers. So even with cars, you're not out of the fucking woods on this shit with cars. Consumers are worried about even more automobile features becoming subscription-based. Volkswagen has a new feature giving consumers the option to pay £16.5 or $22.5 a month to unlock 20 horsepower on its ID. 20 horsepower. That's 20 horsepower? You're gonna pay $22 a month for 20 extra horsepower? If you're just getting groceries in the city, what fucking difference does that make? I guess the real evil with this, I don't know how you would do this, but the real evil is if you can unlock torque. If you could unlock torque, or you could lock torque on a truck, on a work truck. You've got some guy out there that's hauling bales of hay or lumber or something, and oh, his credit card was declined. So now while he's driving down the road, all that extra torque he was paying for gets cut off, and he's sitting there like ripping up his transmission, trying to haul hay down the highway. I feel like that's really where they want to. They don't want to poke at horsepower. They want to get at torque for those work trucks. Oh boy. Volkswagen is offering customers optional power upgrade to increase the horsepower of its ID3 range from about 148 to 168. The 20 horsepower upgrade costs, yeah. Alternatively, customers can pay $878 for a lifetime subscription. A lifetime subscription to fucking horsepower. A subscription to fucking horsepower. Just put $878 on the final price tag of the car and have the fucking 20 horsepower just be there. We are entering new levels of fucking insane dystopian cyberpunk insanity is the only word I could think of. Words are escaping me tonight. Seriously though. A Volkswagen spokesperson told Fortune the power on demand function for its ID3 range has been available since May 2024 and part of the company's development of its digital business models. The car maker also offers subscription services for adaptive cruise control. You can get cruise control in a subscription service, navigation, voice assistant, and seat heating. A subscription service for seat heating? The seat heat... The annoying thing is this shit's already there. The horsepower is already in the car, already under the hood. The seat heating element's already in the seat. There's no reason for it to be gated. There's zero reason for it to be gated. They're just trying to fuck people out of money. Like, I can even understand. This guy makes a joke up here about like guacamole costs extra at Chipotle, so does it extra Starbucks. Like I can even understand the guacamole fucking argument. All right, like guacamole is a dish that costs ingredients. Avocados aren't free, right? I know it might seem like they should be free, but there are avocado farmers. There are people that transport avocados from Mexico to America in trucks. They drive those long, dangerous highways, getting those avocados up to America. You know, there are people that have to, they farming them, picking them when they're ripe. Avocados are finicky motherfuckers. Those things go bad in a hurry. Then you got to cut them right, and then you got to make the guacamole, which is like not just avocado. You got to mix in onions and shit to make it, and lime to make the right flavor. Like there is shit that happens with guacamole that makes sense to me that it would cost a little extra. So I've never had a problem with paying extra for a guacamole. But what it's more like is if you went to a pho shop or pho shop and you got a bowl of pho, and then they charged you extra to use the little spoon, and they charged you extra for the chopsticks or the fork if you use a fork. Like if they charged you extra for the utensils, or they charged you for the bowl, they're like you can get the pho, but just to let you know, it's $8 without the bowl, and it's $15 if you want your pho in a bowl. It's like, well, can I just bring my own bowl? It's like, no, you can't bring your own bowl. That's what that would be a little bit more akin to. Like, the shit's already in the fucking vehicle that you bought. Why gate it? $1 a horse? I can understand paying for a Wi-Fi service for the car or something, but not horsepower or torque. Yeah, Wi-Fi would make more sense. That Ford Escape we were looking at had a Wi-Fi option.
Today than they were when the iTunes came out.
Yeah.
What kind of shift needs to happen now? What do you attribute the explosion of piracy to the most? And what kind of new shift does the industry, because listen, making it more expensive and making it more complicated ain't helping. It's making the problem worse.
Yeah.
What kind of shift do we need to see here to get people to go, okay, you do this, I don't need to pirate? How do you see it?
Well, one of the big problems is
Well, you just
once
make it
we
cheap.
turned everything into files, the value of everything basically dropped to zero. Because people look at a file and they're like, it's just a file. They don't understand that it might have taken 2 years to produce your favorite album. That costs a lot of money. Same with movies. I mean, and our entertainment, whether it's streaming television shows, whether it's music, whether it's movies, the value of them have dropped in people's minds to zero. They just think entertainment's entertainment, whatever. So there has to.
I don't know if that has anything to do with files. I don't know if that has anything to do with files as much as it has to do with, for lack of a better word, the abundance of quote unquote, and this is one of my most hated words, content. Once content became a thing and all art was distilled into content, and all of these media operations in the Obama era decided that the most important thing in the universe was to just accrue content. And you could say that started with Netflix, but I guess it really started with YouTube. I guess it really more started with YouTube, but Obama. Yo, what's up, Taco? Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing tonight? But once we shifted away from general entertainment into a content centric economy, I think that's when people started to devalue it a little, because so much of it has been made so readily available. You can watch a movie anywhere. You can watch movies on YouTube. You can watch movies on Netflix or Prime or Roku or anything else. You can watch movies on Facebook. People upload movies to Facebook. You can watch fucking movies on TikTok. You know, you could watch at least short form shit on Instagram. You can watch movies. You can consume content, to put it in the most sterile terms possible. You can consume content virtually anywhere. And even the production, like, look at me. Like, I'm looking at a camera. I've got a microphone right here. I'm speaking to you guys. I hope I'm entertaining. I try sometimes to be entertaining. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. But you know what? Like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, this shit I'm doing right now was relegated only to people who either had access to like local access television, which is a hilarious thing in and of itself. Maybe I should start dropping some links in the React channel to some of my favorite local access television shows. Or it would be like somebody that worked on a network or worked with a network. You know, I'd have to have a contract with NBC to get in front of a camera and talk like this and broadcast it out to anyone who wanted to tune in and watch it. You know, but I am but a flea in a gargantuan sea of other motherfuckers who are sitting in front of a camera and a microphone, you know, putting their own content out into the world. Like, we're watching a guy doing that right now. So I think it's just like the mass proliferation of content in a heavily content-centric economy. I think that has really contributed more to the denigration of the value of art, which is what we're talking about here. The denigration of the value of art in the minds of consumers, I guess, than anything else. It has more to do with that than it does the stuff being thought of as just being files. Because again, it was files back when iTunes came out, and that didn't stop people from moving away from piracy and moving towards purchasing iTunes music. You know, it was files back when Netflix first started streaming. You know, you had to download the Netflix app, watch Netflix on your phone or something. It was files back then too, and people didn't have a problem with it. There are a lot of people that no matter how much something costs, if it's easy to obtain via a file on the internet, they will do that. For certain. And I guess in the sense of things being files, that would be the one thing that I think would play to his point, is, and that's what I mentioned earlier. If it's easy, then people will do it. If it's not easy, people won't do it. And it's literally as simple as that. And sometimes files are easy. Go to the App Store, download this app. Sometimes files are hard, like trying to add that goddamn Star Wars mod to Starfield, or trying to figure out what torrent on Pirate Bay is a legit copy of Pirates of the Caribbean and which one is malware or a fucking virus or something. Files can be a detriment too. Like, I have to imagine that of all of those 218 billion pirate site video website visitors in 2024, they weren't all tech savvy youngsters. I'm sure a lot of them were old people that were just given a link and told, hey, if you want to watch this, then just click on that. Hey, not too bad, just skating around. Which I think is what Rob is going with there. The DRM was a bit more hard to get around back in the beginning of iTunes, I think. I don't know how many people really tried. I'm sure there are people that did, but, the iPod was cool. And it was nifty. And iTunes made it a must-have accessory. So... And this was at a time when guys like me were going on long walks with non-skip CD players that would skip all the time. So sometimes technology meets the moment. Sometimes it doesn't.
To be, I think, a re-examination. By the way, it's never going to happen. I wish there were. That society would come back and people would just realize, you know what? If my favorite artist makes something, I shouldn't sit there and go, well, they become rich, so what do they care? I can just steal their shit.
I hate this point. I hate this point because people want to support their artists. People are fine with supporting artists. The problem isn't people wanting to support artists. The problem is that money doesn't really ever make it to the artists anymore. It doesn't make it to them. And by design, nobody really makes the conscious effort to, like, back in the days of DVDs and VHS and shit, nobody would ever think, oh, I'm going to buy this DVD because I want to support Tom Cruise or whatever. No, it was a cool movie and you want to own it so you could watch it again. And when you purchased it, artist, whether it was Tom Cruise or the guy that, was doing rigging the lights on the set, or the cameraman or whatever, well, they would get a piece of that. The person that did the music, like Justin, they would get a little piece of those sales, right? If, Justin talks all the time about how he did music for a TV show called Cold Cases. And every now and then, like, he'll get a check in the mail because a rerun of Cold Case that played some of his songs played in, like, Australia or something. And he would get some residuals from that. Like, no one has like a super concentrated effort to, like, I have to support my artist. Nor do I think people should have that. The only reason why that's like a very prominent and popular kind of talking point in this discourse is because it's been made into a talking point to skirt the issue of capital owners not paying their people. It's the same as tipped wages. People want to wag their fucking finger at somebody that doesn't want to tip a waiter or waitress or whatever. And I always tip, and in America, I think you should too. But tipped wages exist because people that own restaurants and shit don't want to pay their staff. They'll make excuses for it, like, oh, the margins for a restaurant are so thin, and we wouldn't be able to operate if we had to pay people, blah 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 blah. And there are studies and places that have done away with the tipped minimum wage, service wages, and mandate that all workers, regardless, make $15 an hour and stuff. Places like Seattle. And it's shown that it's had no real negative impact. Like, these places are still, restaurants still exist in Seattle, as far as I could tell. But tipped wages exist so that you, the customer, supplement the employee wages rather than the business owner paying a fair wage out of profits. Tips protects owners' profits. Like, and it's the same battle going on with this, where all of a sudden the onus is on you, the consumer, the customer. The onus is on you to make sure that the artists are paid when you already are doing your part in purchasing a product, right? Or at least you're doing your part in consuming the product. However, which way you consume it. If you're consuming it on a streaming site, how confident are you that the people, if you're watching Sandman, how confident are you that the people in Sandman are getting paid a just wage for their output? I mean, even shows that are big hits have shown that a lot of actors don't really make a lot of residuals on Netflix shit. So is that on you, the consumer? is that on you? I mean, and we see what these services are charging people too. I mean, this whole video started off with Campia talking about how Disney Plus with ads costs more now than the non-ad Disney Plus did at its start. So I don't like any of the conversations that skew responsibility of workers getting paid, putting that on the consumer and not looking at the business end of how these companies pay their creatives. I had a crush on the lady in Cold Case, if that's the show. I've never seen it. I've only heard about it from Justin telling me music he's made on it. I know some people that live on tips that said they'd hate an actual wage because they'd end up making less overall. Oh, believe me, I know people like that too. I have gotten into arguments. My best friend, she works at a very popular nightclub here in Austin, and she makes great money on tips. But I always say, like, yeah, that exists for sure. And if there is a fair wage, there's no law saying that somebody working $15 an hour can't also make tips. Like, I don't have a problem with tips as a general concept. The problem I have is this idea that it's supposed to supplement, or it's supposed to subsidize a worker's wages in lieu of the business paying them what they should make to, survive. That's the problem I have. I don't have a problem with fucking anybody making tips. The thing is, in our current system, where it is subsidizing payroll for these businesses, not a lot of places are popular nightclubs. Not a lot of places are steakhouse. If you're a bartender at a steakhouse and you get tipped out there, you're making bank. You're not ever quitting that job. Like, that's the way you want to go. You want to be a fucking waiter or a bartender at a steakhouse. But if you're at like an IHOP on the edge of some suburb, chances are you might make a good amount on some decent weeks here and there, but you're probably not making super bank. Because I've also known a lot of people that have worked as waiters and shit, and all of them were struggling to find something else more permanent, something that wasn't as labor intensive and had a reliable level of income. Not, okay, so this week I made $400. Last week I made $1,200. It was a great week last week, but I only made $400 this week, and everybody's going out of town for spring break, so next week is gonna be rough. But then they come back, so I might be able to rebound, and I may have to do some Instacart or whatever. Like, that shit fucking sucks if you're not making a lot of money. The only thing that makes having a workflow like that worthwhile is if you're making serious bank. Is if you're like, all right, well, people are going to be out of town next week, so I'm probably not going to make much. But then when they come back into town, I'm probably going to pull in about maybe 15 grand. And then after that, I'll have to do some promotions maybe to try to keep that going. Maybe I'll probably see like a $2,000 decline the following week. Like, if you're in that situation, then the radical instability of your weekly income probably doesn't doesn't rattle you nearly as much as like, oh shit, you know, about 50 less people came into the restaurant today. I'm not going to be able to pay my phone bill. Like, that's bullshit. And there are a lot of people that are far more on that side of the spectrum than there are people that are raking it in night after night, or week after week rather. And especially in like this economy, any kind of instability is traumatizing. Musicians make the most on concert ticket sales, not albums and streams. Well, I mean, you may want to talk to Ticketmaster folks about that. I mean, again, like I said earlier, this isn't unique to like the business ideology behind this isn't unique to streaming. We've seen it with cars, with what Volkswagen's doing and shit. We've seen it in, you know, yes, film and television, and you've seen it in video games, and it's in music too. Live performance for certain. C3 I think is the company. It's all about paying out your workers, your talent as little as possible, charging your customers as much as possible. And it's happening with live music too. It happens with live music too. The only way you can get around that is working outside of the major the big business big event planning apparatuses. So if you have like a really good manager or something like that, you can book shows at small venues, small-ish venues here and there, and you can make money. Like, that's still a thing that happens pretty frequently. But if you aren't that, or if you're somewhere in between, if you're not Taylor Swift, but you're not like mopping up dive bars after your set, then you're probably struggling a little bit more to get a fair piece of the pie. It works in a nightclub. It doesn't work in a Waffle House or a Steak and Shake, which are both doing tips. Yeah, exactly. You know, and that's the point that I always make too. When I was streaming in Japan, when I was doing the live stream from Kyoto, and I was walking with Lauren, we talked about this a little bit, and she was telling me about how her sister worked for tips at some restaurant, and she was talking about how she would wait on a table during game day, because this was in Washington, so you know it was either Seahawks or it was some one of the college teams. She would wait on a table on game day, and she'd be busting her ass on like a 10-15 person table, and then they wouldn't leave a tip. Like, a lot of people would just not leave a tip, and then she would just break down because that's what she was relying on to like survive. I think this was before Seattle passed their minimum wage for all service workers. But yeah, she would just bust her ass on a 10 person table and they just wouldn't leave a tip. You're just at the mercy of people who either don't realize that their tips are subsidizing those wages, or they just don't care. they just don't care. Neither one of those are good.
We have to somehow instill in people that there is value to these things, that it costs money. Piracy has destroyed low-budget filmmaking. There's no way to make it used to be Hollywood could make a $2 million movie or less and make money on it. That's almost impossible now.
How much did that War of the Worlds movie cost? Wonder if they even gave a budget for this. They're never gonna give a budget for that movie. I would say that was a low budget movie that got made. Low budget movies get made all the time. I mean, the flip side to that is, again, what I was mentioning before, you know, with me being able to speak in front of a camera with a mic and broadcasting it out, it is insanely cheaper to make this shit. Like, it's very cheap to make a low budget. Like, I don't know what his metric is for low budget, but it's very, very cheap to make a low budget movie. One of my friends just makes short films all the time, like basically zero budget. I think he just released one not too long ago. See if I could find. Let's see if it's on. I don't know if he's uploaded it beyond Instagram. I don't even know how I would. God damn it. Why wouldn't it maximize? I don't like how I can't regulate the sound.
Hey, hon.
God damn. Hold on. Pause. I don't like how I can't regulate the sound on fucking Instagram. It's just max volume at all times. Let me just lower that for a bit.
How's it going?
That didn't help at all.
Oh, you know, same shit. You're gonna have to learn to cook that yourself then tonight. Sorry, I'm getting a call. One sec.
God damn,
Yeah.
I can't even fucking turn the volume down.
It's the boss. I'm gonna have to call you back. Yo, yeah. She turned in maybe a few minutes ago. She should be going to bed here soon. I'm not gonna fuck this up. I promise you.
Did I ever show you guys the bit that I did in one of his shorts? He has a he's been filming a web series about bar workers, and in one of the scenes I was an extra in. Did I ever show you guys that? I don't know if I ever showed you guys that.
Shelby, Jared's got this, and we're not getting busier, so you can go home. Finish mopping, though. Last call! Close down your tubs!
Y'all want to eat some acid?
I wasn't in that one.
Shelby, Jared's got.
I don't know. I know he released the bit that I was in, but I guess maybe he just did it as a story. Anyways, my broader point is low budget shit gets made all the time. It gets made literally every single day, basically. And it's just a matter of, again, this is the part of the problem that I spoke to, is there's just so much. There's so much out there. There's so much content, and it's all over the place, and discoverability is a problem. And also, if there is something that people discover that they want, if it's paywalled, then that's like an immediate no-go. Like the kind of movies that this guy's talking about, there is an endless amount on Roku channels that this guy's probably never heard of. They're always, I always see him being advertised on some random ass Roku channel, and it's like, you know, the vampire dentist in London, and it's like some dime store Tom Holland looking knockoff in like a cheap Party City vampire costume, you know, with like a stethoscope, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And I look, and it's like, it's Kluber on Roku. And I was like, Kluber? What? I have to download Kluber to why would I ever go out of my way to download an app called Kluber to watch a show about a vampire doctor in London that looks like it has community theater level production? But those movies get made all the time. Those movies get made literally all the time. And the War of the Worlds with Ice Cube, that's probably just like the most visible version of that, the most visible big budget version of that, because of how bad it's got notoriety because of how bad it was. And then also Ice Cube and Eva Longoria are in it. You'd be surprised at how many of those movies Robert Meyer Burnett has watched. Maybe. I guess he's forgot about them all. Rob is kind of highfalutin with his beliefs. I take him with a grain of salt. War of the Worlds got made in 2020 and sat. Well, I mean, even still, streaming services were around in 2022. And there's still movies like this being made. There's still War of the Worlds out there that come out. Shit, man. They made fucking... Well, I guess that really wasn't low budget, but it played like a low budget movie.
Completely took out a sector of an entry-level sector of people could make films and hope to make some money.
How many people pirated John Schnepp's
Well, that was... you know what?
It nearly destroyed him.
That it destroyed him when it was our own community that was stealing Superman Lives, What Happened. And that, I know he went to his grave being bothered by that, because millions of people, he would come back and tell me how many millions of people downloaded his movie, and he's like, I have to pay back my investors. These people gave me money to make this film, and I've got my own community stealing my film. And I'm sure I'm not blaming some of the people in this room, but still, it's that mindset. And if we don't understand that these things are not free, you have to understand, like, so much in our society is like, well, if it's what I want, then I should have it. There's no understanding of repercussions, because how do you go after piracy? How do you go after, I was on the high seas today to find this? And to be fair, there's a lot of stuff you can't find. I want to buy Barbarian on physical media. For whatever reason, I can't. Zach Kreger's been bitching about it online, which I love. I would love Second Sight to be licensed at. I would love to pay $40 to buy Barbarian, but I can't. I can't own, how can I own Barbarian? And that's another thing. If you can't get something and buy it, if it's not available or you can't go get it, people are going to download it. They're going to take it because they want it. And if you're not going to make things available for people, easily obtained, hey, $3.99, $4.99, whatever it is you're going to cost or whatever, make it available for people to do that. I think people, look, a lot of people are going to steal it anyway. So it's tough. You're never going to get people who are not going to buy for free. Who are not going to buy things. They're going to get it for free. It's very hard to get those people to suddenly pay you. So you have to go after them. Figure out a way to have a downloadable malware in your whatever it is.
It's kind of fucked up when your own community pirates your movie. Yeah, that is pretty fucked up. That is pretty fucked up. This is why I'm always appreciative when you guys start gifting subs to people. Because whenever I do get that very rare check from Twitch, it's always a happy moment. Like, oh, okay, that one sandwich I bought 6 months ago has just officially been paid for.
It is. Don't do this. But we have to change. The only way you can really do it is somehow en masse change the idea that you got to make sure people know this is stealing. You are preventing your favorite creators.
This is the very bad road to go down, because nobody cares. People know it's stealing. They don't care. They don't care. The problem is not again, it's a service problem. It's not a customer problem. It's a service problem. People will steal. Go pirate Les Miserables if you want a thorough understanding of the nature of the stealing of the peoples. Piracy forever, eat the rich, fight hypercapitalism. We, the poor, will no longer be victimized for surviving in a capitalist system that seeks to consume us and deny us healthcare for a profit. Yo, what's up, Genetic Memory Farms? Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing tonight? In a very revolutionary mood. Good evening, peeps. I hope you're all safe and stoned. There's a filmmaker who made a movie who uploaded the IMAX version of his film to a torrent with like a 15-minute video of him talking about it, and then the movie starts or something. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I forget which movie that was. I did see that article, Taco. There was a filmmaker who pirated the movie himself. He promoted it. He created a version specifically for pirates, where he talks right up front about the movie he's about to watch, and he made sure that the pirated version of that movie was a great quality of that film. I wish let me see if I can find what that was. Is it this guy?
Waited my entire film career to be able to pull this move. This is our movie. It just came out today for digital download or rentals. I have waited my entire film career to be able to pull this move. This is our movie. It just came out today for digital download or rentals. I'm also putting it up on the torrent networks, but I've added something to the very beginning.
Ahoy, matey! I'm Freddie Wong, and you're about to watch a pirated copy of We're All Gonna Die that I made. For in this day and age, it's impossible to prevent piracy, so if you can't beat them, join them. What you're about to watch is encoded off of the original 4K 10-bit 5.1 master files that we had made for the movie. So please, enjoy. And afterwards, if you're feeling like maybe throwing a little bit of lucre our way so that we can continue making movies, you can do so at ipiratedwe'reallgonadie.com. Thanks. Enjoy the movie.
Pay what you want for this JPEG.
Pay what you want for this JPEG. Yeah, I mean, you could find creative ways to get around it too. I wonder how many people actually went there. Well, only 270 people. God damn it. Why are you doing that? Only 270 people have purported to rate it, at least. So I don't know if that's an accurate reflection of the number of people that have pirated it, but at the very least, if nothing else, it's 270 people that possibly paid him some money. So, hey, you know what? Get creative, I guess.
Being able to make something else because their material isn't making enough money because you stole
I
it.
100% agree.
I don't know how to do that.
I would go one step further, though, and say the industry was doing that. And it was having an impact. Because, again, from like 2015 to 2020, they saw year after year declines in piracy, right? Why did that curve change to an increase in piracy? It changed because the industry changed.
Yeah.
The industry, like, you can't go and pitch a goodwill message to fans and saying, hey, come on, guys, like, let's reward creators. Let's not steal. Like, there's value in the content. You can't do that. And then as soon as you start getting people on board with it, going, you know what, you're right. It's a goodwill thing. We're fans. We do want to pay for the content we have.
Well,
and then you start screwing them without lube
yes,
from behind.
100%.
You destroy that message. You destroy it. And like, I think now the only way back is going to have to be something along the lines where you address these three things: price increase, dispersal of content, question of ownership.
Yep.
So like a bundle program, like right now we got a bundle program that's what? HBO Max, Disney Plus, and Hulu, right? And that got huge success. So like people know, okay, for a cheaper price, I have this one subscription where I get a lot more of the content that I want. It's going to be very difficult to negotiate, but if at some point like the master bundles can be made, where like Netflix and Peacock.
If only we can just create some service, some singular service that just ties all of these different avenues of content together. We can just get like the Disney Plus from over here, Hulu from over here, we can get Prime from over here, we can get Shudder from over there, Peacock from over there, Paramount Plus from over there, and we can just take them all and pull them together and just kind of like bind them with like, I don't know, some kind of a cable. we could just take some kind of a cable and bind all of these different services into one tight, compact, central stream of content that people can just access singularly because it's all bound together with this very tight cable. If only we could just find some way to do that instead of having all these disparate services with their content siloed in their own little security vaults. We just don't know. We can't figure it out. We can't figure it out. We disrupted the market. We came in as disruptors and we disrupted the market, and now everything is just too disrupted. So we just don't know how to do that anymore. That's a real shame. The first tech company that disrupts the streaming market and figures out a way to bind all of these services together through one avenue that people can just pay for with one service, one subscription service, and then they have access to all of this content just piped right directly into their house. They're going to be the ones that those are going to be the real disruptors. Those are going to be the real disruptors.
And Paramount Plus and HBO and Disney Plus say, hey, we have a master subscription you can have for like $40 a month. You get all of this, one subscription, all your content, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's going to be very difficult to do, but I don't know that appealing to the better nature of fans anymore.
No, it doesn't.
It's going to work when you did that already and then fuck them afterwards anyway.
Well, I mean, what we are seeing in our culture today, whether it's tariffs, vegetable prices, whatever you're looking at, everywhere we look, we are getting screwed by corporately held. I mean, I understand corporations have to make money, but they're raising prices on every level of society.
Yeah.
And everyone, when you're doing that, eventually it's going to be like, well, I'm going to start stealing. On every play, I'm going to start stealing produce from the grocery store. I read an article this morning. It said produce in our grocery stores in America are up. They're as expensive as they were during World War II. Yeah. In terms of, I mean, that's where we're at now.
It's going to go up too, and you're going to have scarcity.
It's scary. It's going to, and the thing is, how if everybody's doing this on every level of society, well, something's got to give, because we, the middle class, that are what are.
Oh, YouTube, you are never friendly to me when I want a quick reaction. I think Rob is just mad that his movie Free Enterprise gets pirated. He actually produced all the extras for the Blu-rays for Star Trek TNG. Sometimes the fight takes the form of stealing from the rich and disseminating things to the poor. Do you think none of these guys you're seeing are rich? Just an FYI, maybe above average, not even a million subs. I have an idea. We bundle up and call it cable TV. People misremember how good Netflix was. It was always missing stuff. It never had everything, and people seem to think it did. No, I remember that. I mean, it's the same as it is now. I remember that. Every time I wanted to watch something, I would see if it was on Netflix, and it wasn't. Much as the case as it is now. People say that, but if all those were 40, it would still be a third of the price of cable. Cable was expensive. Make no bones about that. Cable TV was expensive, but considering the price of all of these streaming services, like they're all kind of bumping up around $20 a pop, you're going to be paying cable prices for all of them anyways, which, you know, considering I mean, look, eventually they reach the grand thesis that I mentioned earlier, where this isn't exclusive to filmmaking. This is just part and parcel of the end state of unregulated capitalism. And they're figuring it out.
Article this morning, it said produce in our grocery stores in America are up. They're as expensive as they were during World War II. Yeah. In terms of, I mean, that's where we're at now.
It's going to go up too, and you're going to have scarcity.
It's scary. It's going to, and the thing is, how if everybody's doing this on every level of society, Well, something's got to give, because we, the middle class, that are what are being screwed over, are eventually, it's like, well, I really want to watch my media, but I have to eat, and I can't afford to pay these subscription prices, so I'll just go to the high seas and steal it. So all of this corporate gouging on every level of society is eventually going.
You know, I had this whole thing. You're late. For whatever reason, my YouTube in this browser is fucking slow as shit. It took me like 10 minutes to fucking queue this up. When it shouldn't, I don't know. I need to switch browsers. Opera's pissing me off.
That's where we're at now.
It's going to go up too, and it's going to have scarcity.
On every I'm going to start stealing produce in the grocery store. I read an article this morning. It said produce in our grocery stores in America are up. They're as expensive as they were during World War II. Yeah. In terms of, that's where
the beacons have been lit red,
and it's going to
scarcity.
It's scary. It's going to, and the thing is, how if everybody's doing this on every level of society, well,
I've got my hammer.
Something's got to give. Because
where's
the
the
middle
sickle?
class that are what are being screwed over are eventually, it's like, well, I really want to watch my media, but I have to eat, and I can't afford to pay these subscription prices, so I'll just go to the high seas and steal it. So all of this corporate gouging on every level of society is eventually going to affect every level of corporate gouging, and people are going to do what they're going to be dishonest.
What happened?
Because the world is turning them dishonest. And it's
wait, what happened? Oh my God, you fucking suck dick. Why are you busted now? You know what? I made my point. I'm gonna close you. You piece of shit. You fucking piece of fucking shit. I need to switch browsers or something. Hello, it is me, and bring down the hammer. Yo, what's up? What's up, Toaster? Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing? From the perspective of the working poor, these guys are rich, by the way. If you can give a, why did I lose my spot? If you can give a crap about piracy but don't understand why people are pirating, you are the problem. No, they understand it. They understand it. I think that film, it's kind of the same way with every type of aficionado. Film aficionados want to support filmmakers. Video game aficionados want to support game developers. Music aficionados want to support musicians. That's always, just a part of the fandom. And it makes sense, and that's fine too. But as we're witnessing here, eventually, all of these things existing in our completely unregulated dystopian capitalist economy, it all funnels into the same problem. No matter what sector of the economy you're talking about, it's all going to be affected by the exact same thing, which is private capitalist ownership of, quote unquote, the means of production and exploiting it to the maximum for profit. And when I say exploiting it, I'm talking about exploiting labor and exploiting consumers. Both. They're doing it on both sides. And they're doing it because in an unregulated market, you have rampant, out of control monopolization. Right now, we're dealing with an oligopoly, but Paramount just absorbed Skydance. And it sounds like, wait, what did I saw something, somebody wants to absorb Paramount? Or maybe Paramount wants to buy WB. Like, it's just a hodgepodge of these massive conglomerations just consuming one another until there's zero choice. And the less choices there are, not only just as consumers, but also fewer choices for creatives who want to work in these spaces, the harder it is for an individual to be like, I'm going to make my own production company, in an environment where 5 companies control 60% of the market. The harder it's going to be for a smaller creator to do something like that, the less likely it's going to be that the consumer is going to have an option to support anything outside of that oligopoly that controls 60-70% of the market. And so long as they can't escape the watchful purview of that oligopoly, then that oligopoly is going to be like, hey, you know what, guys? I think we should raise our rates. We should charge $30 a month. And then, they can't collude legally, although crime is legal now. They can't collude legally, but they'll do it anyways through price leadership. And they'll be like, oh, I just saw Netflix raise their prices to $30 a month. Now, you would think that would be an opportunity for a true competitor, a true market competitor to go, oh, Netflix is raising their prices $20 a month. I'm going to lower mine. I'm going to lower mine by $5. And then we're going to have an advertising campaign that really needles in on how expensive and unaffordable Netflix is. And we're going to draw in more people. We're going to be competitive. And we're going to really fucking take it to Netflix. No, but there is none of that. Instead, what it is, oh, Netflix raised their prices to $20. We're going to raise ours to $20. Oh, Netflix and Paramount raised theirs to $20. We're going to raise ours to $22. So, and it seems like this is the ultimate conclusion. Again, in our ecosystem, all things funnel to the exact same problems. He's mentioning it here with groceries and shit, and we talked about it earlier with vehicles and whatnot. It all leads to the same problem. So even if these guys aren't like rich, even if it seems like they're advocating on side of capital owners because they're enthusiasts and they want to see their creatives, in their view, get compensated for their work, as they should be. Like, even still, they're coming to the conclusion that the problem isn't with the creatives or with the customers. And that's an important distinction. Like, all things being burned away, more and more people are finally starting to zero in on what like the actual problem is. Listen, I'd pay for this shit if they didn't actively punish me for paying for this shit. Fair point. A fish hook and a hammer. I don't even know what that means. It's time to start the Amerikansen problem, or Amerikansen party. I like it. The Amerikansen. That's another video. What time is it right now? This might be a late stream for me because I didn't realize I was going to be spending the entire fucking time talking about this one video, but there's another one I want to talk about, and you better bet your fucking ass it's about trains. It's a daily show talking about movies, lol. If you care about your art, you will just be glad people are seeing it and experiencing it. The business side of it is BS. I mean, we don't live in that kind of a society. I wish, Genetic Memory Farms, I want it to be that way. But unfortunately, artists got to eat too. Artists got to pay rent. Unfortunately. It's why nobody calls Austin the live music capital of the world anymore. When I first moved to Austin 25 years ago, the only thing I ever fucking heard was Austin is the live music capital of the world. Austin is the live music capital of the world. Live music capital of the world. Coming to you live from the live music capital of the world. Austin is the live music capital of the world. 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 And it fucking drove me crazy. But I haven't heard shit about Austin being the live music capital of the world for at least 10 years now at this point. And it's because the city got so insanely expensive, all of those musicians and artists and shit left. They left because they got to pay those bills too. So I wish that wasn't the case, and maybe I still would hear live music capital of the world, live music capital of the world. But unfortunately, this is the reality we live in. Homie, without the business side, none of it gets made. Let's be real. Like, no offense, I like well-made stuff. Just not just some dude making his art on this side of the road. The whole thing was just them talking about a news article about piracy rising and discussing why it has. Disagree? Now you can grab an iPhone and make a movie. Ask Devin's friend. It would be even better for him if big companies found making movies prohibitively expensive because of piracy. Level field. I feel like they're finding it. I feel like companies are slowly finding making big movies cost prohibitive. not because of piracy, but just because, well, I guess maybe piracy plays into it, but it's really just difficult to make your money back now. Like most of those movies flop. Most of those movies flop. So people are getting a little bit more gun shy about shelling out for a blockbuster movie if there isn't like a super prominent IP behind it. But even the prominent IPs have been kind of floundering lately. The streaming bubble is going to burst at some point, and I don't think it's that far away, to be honest. Not every customer wants to watch a movie made by someone with an iPhone. I think the point is that the difference in video quality between like a super expensive camera and an iPhone is the gap between those two things have narrowed so dramatically that if you have a very good video editor, it could be indistinguishable. There was a horror movie that came out like a couple of years ago that was fully shot on an iPhone, and it looked like most other horror movies. Can't remember the name of it, though. I could probably Google it here. The problem is the economic system is broken, and that's not the consumer's fault. Fully agree. Okay, but I want money. I left the industry because I didn't have the money. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's the reason why I left the video game industry, honestly. Nino makes the money.
It's a big problem, and I think it's affecting everybody in ways that they're not even. But hey, when AI takes over and we all get universal basic income, who cares?
Anyway, guys,
it's funny to end on that point because, like, right now we're talking. There's a lot of articles and think pieces about whether or not the AI bubble is starting to burst, and what that's going to mean for both development of AI and also the economy at large. So, I mean, AI is not going anywhere in the long run, but I think that we may be starting to see the end of this idea of AI being propagated as like, you know, Rosie the robot from the Jetsons, willing and able and capable of doing any task that you throw at it. Like I think it was MIT that came out with that report about how AI pipelines in 90% of the businesses that are operating with them are failing. And then OpenAI had to come out and be like, well, they recently released ChatGPT 5, which was supposed to be like, you know, the holy grail of their OpenAI services, but they had to come out and be like, all right, OpenAI, all right, ChatGPT 5 kind of sucks. Sorry about that. We'll get it right with GPT 6. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. I also like John and Rob because they will talk to fans. Rob has actually done 2 interviews with William, one this last Comic-Con in person with him. Oh, that's cool. That is the reason I quit working in kitchens, drastically underpaid. Now I reserve my efforts for people I care about.
The question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, and listen, I think most rational, semi-intelligent people say, yeah, piracy is wrong. We get it. But that moral message kind of gets lost when we have these corporate entities that are just looking for every way they possibly can to screw you and me over. It makes the average film consumer go, well, maybe I want to screw you a little bit back. What do you think the answers are and the solutions to making it so it can be a win-win for everybody? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below. And
personally, I think it's going to have to be a combination of things. One, trust busting. We're going to have to break up a lot of these studios. We're going to have to break up a lot of, honestly, IP ownership. 2, I think we need to change how intellectual property laws work, but that's a much more complicated discussion. But I think both of those 2 things need to work in tandem, breaking up the monopolies and reconfiguring how we work with IP law. 3, we need a lot more why is the word escaping my mind? We need more worker-owned co-op type production studios. I know Ben Affleck and Matt Damon started a production studio that kind of sort of works like that. I don't know if it's strictly a worker-owned co-op, but they have like a profit sharing mechanism that kind of seems like it is. I spelt his name very, very wrong. Affleck. Oh, let's see. What is the name of his thing? Artist Equity. I want to know how they work. Artist Equity is an independent artist-led studio reimagining the relationship between talent studio and distributor. We prioritize and partner with creators through an innovative business model so that all can truly participate and realize the value they bring to a project. Artist Equity was co-founded by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Jerry Cardinal of Redbird Capital in November 2022. Okay, so they don't really get into the details. I don't think it's a worker co-op, but I think that they do much more profit sharing or revenue sharing amongst creators than a typical studio does. I should probably look up more information to see how they actually operate, but it's going to take, like, at the very least, it's going to take more studios like this, and much more extreme is going to be something more akin to like an actual worker co-op production studio. Like those two things. And we're also going to have to just trust bust shit like fucking our internet service providers, our television providers. I mean, there's just too much consolidation. We need to. It will necessitate a little bit of messiness for sure, but I think in the long run it would make it like there are arguments. There are a lot of arguments for the, I guess, vertical integration of production studios owning the means for distribution. That used to not be the case with respects to production companies owning movie theaters back in like the 20s and such. There was a Supreme Court case that specifically prevented production studios from being able to own theaters. So theaters were independently operated from production companies, which is why theaters charge a lot for concessions, because that's part of the deal they make. The ticket sales goes to the studios, so the theater operators have to make their money back on concessions. That deal expired years ago, and I was expecting to see a lot more of these companies buy theater chains. Didn't really happen. Netflix bought one theater I know of, somewhere in New York, but that was really the only major thing I'd heard about it. So that was kind of interesting. I guess these companies see a post-COVID climate where theaters are struggling to get people to even come to them. They don't want any interest. They have no interest in investing in that. I guess if theaters were just a non-stop profit machine, they probably would have jumped on that a little bit more. Funny, we are chasing out the immigrants I worked with, but businesses aren't raising wages for kitchen work. Solution is to pay people enough so that they can afford your entertainment economy wide. Yeah, that's true. The government broke up Bell. They used to run all the phones. Yeah, trust busting used to be a normal thing. Back in those days, studios could contract actors. Some people think it going away hurt the average actor. They got paid no matter if they were in a movie or not, and secured them employment. Well, there's a lot of consternation about the quote-unquote death of the movie star. So as a lot more talent is discovered, a lot more acting, writing talent and whatnot is discovered through conventional and increasingly unconventional means. I mean, you've got these guys, these, YouTubers and whatnot who are making movies now. YouTubers making movies and shit. They could come from anywhere. There's no need for a studio to sign that kind of a deal with an actor. Who would they even do that with? There's no singular actor out there that's like, whose name is guaranteed to like fill every theater in America for months at a time. Best you're gonna get is like Taylor Swift and have a theater deal where, okay, Taylor, next time, how about this? Next album release, you do some music videos. We will pay you to release those videos in our theaters so we can have Taylor Swift music video premiere screenings. Because believe it or not, Swifties are insane, and they will go to that and spend lots of money. Same with alcohol. Breweries used to own taverns called tied houses, so they could only serve one brewery's beer. After Prohibition, that is illegal. We have 3-tier distribution to separate ownership. Chris Struckman's horror movie comes out soon. He's a YouTuber. Movie is called Shelby Oaks. I mean, aren't the guys that did Talk to Me and I forget the follow-up, which I actually liked more than Talk to Me. Weren't those guys content creators? Morning, everyone. Yo, what's up, Kite? Welcome back to the stream. How are you doing? Bring her back. Yes, bring her back.
And let us know.
Yeah, I think that both of those guys were content creators, weren't they? Yeah, YouTubers. Known together online as Raka Raka, they are Australian twin filmmakers, YouTubers, and stunt performers, known for their horror comedy YouTube videos. Yeah, I mean, and those movies did well. Those movies did pretty well. $15 million budget. God damn it, shut up. $15 million budget, $32 million box office. That ain't bad. Shit. Go back. $4.5 million budget, $92 million box office. Holy shit. You don't got to sign anybody. Because you don't got to sign anybody to any fucking deal. Because who knows when another random YouTuber is going to pop off on a $92 million box office from a $4.5 million budget. This movie sucked. I didn't like this one. Bring Her Back was way better. Oh, man. That was a good video. Thank you, Vince. Thank you for the rec on that. I'm gonna hit you with one of these. Also, before the next video, these dice have been hot in my hands. I'm gonna roll myself a game of threes here. Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm keeping the 3. I'll keep the 1, and I'll re-roll these ones. So right now my score is 1. Oh shit. All right, I'm gonna keep that one. Now my score is 2. Fuck. Now my score is 3. Damn. 7. I accidentally unsubbed from his channel and now can't talk for a week. Lol, he has strict stuff on because there's so many trolls that show up. Challenge accepted. I'm making a movie on a $50 budget. It's possible. It's possible to do that. Talk in the live chat, I mean, but they cut the live up to those segments. All right, keeping that 3. Ooh, there's a 1. I'm gonna keep that 1. This is how I used to make drinking money way back in the day. Keep that 2. So that's 3. Oh, hell yeah. So I'm still at 3. 4. Much better. Much better. All right. Moving on. This country is experiencing a real rail revival. Any guess on which country this is? Have any guesses out there? I'll give you a clue. It's not America. What the fuck? What? There we go. Oh man, this browser really sucks. Romania? Nope.
After decades of decline and neglect, the Mexican government has finally renewed its interest in railways and is now pushing hard to get people back on trains. This shift began on November 20th, 2023, when the government announced formal plans to introduce passenger services on 7 rail corridors spanning 8,000 kilometers, intended to serve as the backbone of Mexico's future rail system.
Will you please pause?
The presidential decree.
Why does this shit suck so much? Oh man, I can just look at this map and daydream. That's all I'm doing is just daydreaming. Like, look at this. This is what they're planning on doing. This is what they're planning on doing. Wait, why isn't Tijuana connected to Mexicali? Seems like that should be a connection there, but Mexicali, Nogales, CD Juarez. This goes all the way down the Pacific coast. Connects into the interior. We even go out to Cancun and Tulum. Which I've only flown into Cancun. I've been to Playa, which I think is down here. So what, I guess if I wanted to go back to Playa, once this is built out, I can fly into Cancun and maybe take a railway down this way. Driving sucked. Driving down here really fucking sucked. I would not recommend that. I don't ever want to do that again. Mexico, nice. Canada, they do everything better than us. Oh, it's not just the hat, buddy. It's not just the hat that does everything better than us. It's the pants, too. My in-laws are moving to Mexico. I'll have to get on a train when I visit. Hell yeah. It's funny Genetics says that. A lot of Canadians complain about their government a lot. Everybody complains about their government. Everybody complains about their government. But the one thing they all never say is, I wish our government was more like America's. Unless it's like fucking some failed state in Africa or the Middle East after we contributed to destroying their society. They might be like, man, I wish we were more like America. But generally speaking, anybody that's like in the first world, don't look at us with a great deal of envy. I'm debating on buying a camera this weekend and start making videos on YouTube. Hell yeah. I've been watching a lot of Japanese vlogger videos and I'm getting the itch to do my own like that. What are Japanese vlogger videos like? Are you in the Discord? Are you in my Discord, Kite? Because if you aren't, you should be. And if you are, then you should drop some Japanese vlogger links in the React channel. I'm curious about that.
The backbone of Mexico's future rail system. The presidential decree, signed by then-President López Obrador, required existing freight operators to submit technical proposals and investment plans to adapt their lines for passenger services. The government made it clear that failure to...
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna copy and paste this into YouTube for you, since that Nightbot link doesn't post this into YouTube. Thank you though, Vince. Actually, I think I can just drop it right here. There we go.
Comply would result in consequences. If a concession holder did not submit a proposal, the Ministry of Infrastructure, Communications and Transport could revoke the concession and reassign it to another party. By that time, 2 major infrastructure projects were already nearing completion. The Trans-Isthmus Rail Corridor connecting the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, and the famous Tren Maya project, which we've already discussed on this channel. But before diving deeper into this fascinating railway story, let's take a brief look back at history. Mexico's railway history began in 1837, when a local businessman secured a concession to build a line from the Gulf Coast port of Veracruz to Mexico City. After delays and the second concession, the first train finally ran between the two cities in
That's what America's trains look like right now.
Over the next 2 decades, the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries, the network expanded rapidly, growing from 9,500 kilometers to 19,000 kilometers. In 1937, Mexico nationalized its railways around the same time as its oil industry, and the state operated them for the next 60 years. By the time the government decided that private companies might better maintain and modernize the system, passenger services had all but vanished. Private concessions were granted, but only for freight, with a few exceptions like the Copper Canyon Line and the tourist train linking Guadalajara to Tequila, the famed agave-growing town. Fast forward to the 21st century, where low-cost airlines dominate the skies, interstate buses offer onboard toilets and movies, and now long-distance passenger rail is staging a comeback. But before we go further, a quick word from our supporters. If you enjoy our content and want to help keep these videos rolling, consider joining us on Patreon, becoming a YouTube member, or snagging some official merch. Links are in the description below, and for the true rail enthusiasts, don't miss our in-depth ebook, a deep dive into the world's most fast...
Oh, they got a book about rails. Okay, these guys are fucking into it. I have a friend who has similar activities as me in the UK, and he is envious of our cannabis laws. I mean, depending on where you go, Texas just did some shit. Better go to Colorado. Until I tell him about how healthcare and job security, unemployment, and housing works here. Yeah, exactly. I tried to use Discord many years ago for an old flag football league and couldn't figure it out. Lol. I'll download it and I'll download it again and maybe try to do it again. Hopefully, all you need to do is just click on the link and it'll automatically. I mean, if you have an account, it'll put you into my my server. The train my buddy got on last week was a bus. It broke down a few days before he left. Wait, what? What do you mean the train was a bus? I thought so he was just getting on like a Greyhound or something? I was under the impression that it was going to be like a train. I've taken an Amtrak once from St. Louis to Albuquerque and back. It took 26 hours each way. 26 hours? 26 hours? Oh, fuck you, man. Fuck you. You know what? Actually, you just reminded me. Jesus, I'm pulling up all sorts of shit. You just reminded me of this that I saw on the Tiki Tax.
Okay, I've put this off a couple days, but
no, I don't want it. What the fuck? Here it is. You know what? Someone, because I've been getting comments, or at least I've been getting likes on it. Oh, you went fucking away, you dipshit.
Did you know that for just $224, you can take a 70-plus hour train journey from Houston, Texas? Did you know
listen to that?
Just
Why is the volume so low? Nope, I didn't want to do that one. Nope, I didn't want to click on that either. Everything's a disaster.
Right now, you can save £50 per person.
No, go back.
Did you know that for just $224, you can take a 70-plus hour train journey from Houston, Texas to Seattle, Washington, across the deserts of the Southwest, then along the beautiful Pacific coast until you reach the largest port city in the Northwest United States? The journey begins at Amtrak Station Houston, where you leave the Texas coast and head west. Once in West Texas, the train passes through San Antonio, then continues through the deserts of New Mexico, Arizona, and into California. From Los Angeles, you board the Coast Starlight, which has been dubbed the most beautiful train in America. The train first leaves the dense urban area of Los Angeles, passes through Hollywood, Burbank, and enters the agricultural valleys of California. When it reaches San Luis Obispo, the coastal journey begins. The train rides along the edge of the Pacific Cliffs, where you can see white sand beaches, passing through San Jose and...
I mean, I'm sure that's a beautiful part of the trip, too. I'm sure there's some beautiful stuff to see, but to me, I could not get past the opening.
$224, you can take a 70-plus hour train journey from Houston, Texas. $193 for private room. The journey from Houston to Seattle is more than just a trip. It's an experience for those who want to see the country in all its beauty.
70, I think it was 72 hours. 72 hours to get from Houston to Seattle. Oh boy. Try doing that one, Vince. I would like to see you get on a 72-hour train. It was just a Greyhound bus and was 2 hours late. Valheim had a huge update, and I once again wish I had people to play it with me. I mean, I own it. I can update it and hop in. I mean, it's been a while. And I have at least kind of maybe grown a little bit more of an affinity for survival games now than I had back when I first played Valheim. So I might be willing to jump in with you. Not tonight, but maybe tomorrow or Saturday. My issue with Amtrak is it doesn't stop enough to take in the sights. It's about getting there. That's your issue? I mean, it's a 26-hour train. How can you not take in the sights on the way? Damn, man, you would hate the Shinkansen then, because that bitch moves much faster. You got to keep your eyes peeled. Canadians don't know how good they have it. Healthcare, education, and very little need for security. Another friend in Ontario complains about his check being late. Explained our Hunger Games to him. The fact that he has a check to complain about says it all.
Fascinating railway systems. Now let's get back on track. The revival of Mexican passenger rail actually began under President Enrique Peña Nieto, who served from 2012 to 2018. His ambitious vision included, believe it or not, a bullet train from Mexico City to Querétaro, with plans for eventual extension to Guadalajara. His proposals didn't stop there, they also included a trans-peninsular route connecting the Yucatan state capital city of Mérida with the popular tourist region of Riviera Maya were his vision, and also a service from Mexico City to the state of Mexico capital Toluca. As it usually goes with ambitious plans, the projects were criticized as unprofitable and unreasonable, which they evidently were, but that was not the point. The point was to spark the rail industry and create a modern high-speed passenger network capable of reducing travel times along what have become highly congested highways. To cut a long story short, the bullet train project was cancelled for political reasons, all was not well with the way it was awarded, and shortly after, the Trans-Peninsular Line was postponed indefinitely for economic reasons. The Mexico City-Toluca line went ahead, but was far from complete by the time his term ended. When President López Obrador took office in 2018, serving until 2024, he took Mexico's railway ambitions even further. He revived and expanded the concept of a trans-peninsular train into what became the now famous Tren Maya,
Good old
a
AMLO.
tourist railway that loops around the entire Yucatan Peninsula. But his vision didn't stop there. López Obrador also pledged to restore passenger rail service across 8,000 route kilometers, divided among 7 key corridors. Here's the kicker: 6 of these 7 corridors are freight lines operated under concessions held by Canadian Pacific Kansas City de Mexico and Grupo México Transportes, herein after referred to as CPKC and GMT. These very routes once carried passengers until 1995, when Mexico privatized its struggling national railway company, Ferrocarriles Nacionales de México. The new private operators focused solely on profitability, discontinued passenger services to concentrate on freight. Now, before we continue, let's visualize these routes. They're crucial to understanding what comes next. The first would link the Mexico City to Veracruz and Coatzacoalcos on the east coast. It would run on tracks managed by CPKC on the Mexico City-Veracruz section and by GMT's Ferrosur subsidiary on the Veracruz-Coatzacoalcos
So these
section.
sound like they are just
The line
normal
between
commuter
Medias
lines,
Aguas
not
and
high-speed rail.
Coatzacoalcos is already run by the military-backed Ferrocarril del Istmo de Tehuantepec, after GMT agreed to cede control in exchange for an extension of Ferrosur's concession term. The second is the north-south Mexico City-Querétaro-León Aguascalientes route, which would run on tracks shared by GMT's Ferromex and CPKC. The third would be a link from Irapuato to Manzanillo on the west coast via Guadalajara and Colima. This line is currently managed under concession by Ferromex. The fourth route would run from Mexico City to Nuevo Laredo in the northeast via San Luis Potosí and Monterrey. This route is operated and maintained by CPKC. The fifth corridor would link Mexico City with Nogales on the border with the USA, running along the west coast via Querétaro, Guadalajara, Tepic, and Mazatlan. This line is managed by Ferromex. The sixth proposed route is the line through the center of the country from Aguascalientes via Chihuahua to Ciudad Juárez on the border with the USA. This is also managed by Ferromex. The seventh route would connect Felipe Ángeles International Airport and Pachuca. This service would be created as part of a new concession and would form a suburban rail corridor between Pachuca and Mexico City. After Mr. López Obrador, the Claudia Sheinbaum took presidency office in 2024. She also took the railway baton, intending to continue with rail expansion projects. Her government has resumed plans for a Mexico City to Querétaro train, of course not as a bullet train, and others in different parts of the country. Right after this, Mexico...
That's the real bummer. That's the real bummer. I know that China has an extreme interest in exporting its high-speed rail to basically any country that's willing to pay for it. Like, that's the only thing that China really wants to do, is just build infrastructure all over the world right now. It's their Belt and Road Initiative. I wish that we had that gumption. I wish that we were like, oh, we're going to compete with China. Well, we're going to build high-speed rail, and then we'll offer our high-speed rail all over the world. Like, it sucks that we've become this country that is just completely and totally contracted into like this weird 1800s sense of fucking economy, where we're talking about coal mines. We're opening up coal mines again. We're going to do more fracking. We're going to destroy whatever rail we already have, and we're just going to focus on... And also, I guess we're anti-plane because we're firing all of our air traffic controllers and shit. So we don't even want you in the goddamn skies. We're bringing back horses. We're taking away EV credits. No one's buying electric anything anymore. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened where all of a sudden we decided to become this weird anarcho-primitive Luddite society. And you would think that any part of this whole bullshit MAGA type, I said, again, retracting from the world stage and internalizing our investments, I'm not opposed to that. I think that we should invest more in ourselves. I think that's the chief problem, is we don't invest in America anymore. Like, a lot of what we do invest in focuses around the military industrial complex, or focusing around reinforcing monopolies and oligopolies and extracting as much money from working people and giving it to the super wealthy. But we should be focused on things like, a guaranteed jobs program that is centered around infrastructure, and all of the infrastructure that we invest in goes towards hardening our power line, updating our power grid, building rail systems and shit like that. Like, that's what it should be. But somehow the whole weird MAGA take on it has become, there was never any real guiding philosophy behind it. It was really just trolling the libs or whatever and hating brown people. And now that it actually has found its way into power, somehow, some way, there is zero investment in people. The only thing that we've turned internally on ourselves is our own military, because now we have the military taking over whole ass cities and shit. Like, it makes zero sense to me, and I don't understand how anybody can look at that output and square it against our impending economic collapse and come up to some philosophical understanding of what exactly it is that movement was trying to do. Like, it makes no sense at all. It makes zero sense at all. And it makes me upset when I see other countries investing in themselves. It sucks that these rail lines aren't going to be high speed, but they definitely should be. And I think they should revisit those potential. I guess a part of my experience, my limited level of experience in Japan, was each of those cities had their own train station. So if you wanted to get off, and the train was fast. The trains were fast and they were frequent. So if you wanted to, going from Tokyo to Kyoto, as I did, all the little stops in between, you can get off there, walk around, take it in, and then when the next train comes in about an hour or so, you could jump on that line and go to the next town. I went from Chicago, Illinois to Riverside, California, the Southwest Chief line for $70 each way. Also found out the Amtrak station that Amtrak wanted to build in my town was stopped because the city leader didn't want undesirables. Yeah, that's the racist element to that. Racist and classist. It's like, Amtrak, don't poor people use Amtrak? We don't want those fucking poors. And aren't they all black? Black poors? Are you kidding me? Get that shit out of here. 48-hour trip with a stop at Albuquerque. Albuquerque is pretty. New Mexico is very pretty. Yeah, that was 2005. Genetic. Hell, I can't even remember how much the tickets cost. Spent most of the trip in the observation car, just east. Hung out and watched scenery. Okay, that sounds cool. That sounds fun. Oh, you're still on? Hey, what's up, Draggy? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight? Ha ha ha, we are too busy fighting each other. Stream F or my internet? No audio. Do I not have audio? Oh man, is the audio fucked? YouTube audio is fine? Oh, so it's Twitch, of course. Twitch is the one. Oh no, wait, your microphone is unmuted but has no signal. Hold on a second. Okay. How is this? Do I have a signal? Do I have a signal? Am I good? Twitch folk? Creeker Maria reacts. I hear you. Hey, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I hope the Twitch folk can hear me. I'm glad YouTube doesn't. I don't know what. Maybe it wasn't Twitch. Maybe it was something with my... You still can't hear me? That's weird. It's showing up on my... How about now? Can you hear me now? Are we good to go? Are we good to go? How am I sounding? How am I sounding? All right, jumped over. It's Mariah like Mariah Carey. Oh, I got you. Is it Mariah Carey? Is Mariah Carey watching me rant about trains right now? Am I really still... It's muted still on Twitch? Oh, boy. I don't know what I can do about that. Because my sound device looks like it's working in Streamlabs. My sound device looks like it's working in Streamlabs. I don't have any new... Oh, wait. I had a stream disconnected reconnect. I don't know if there's anything I can do for the Twitch side. All right, well, you know what? I'll keep on. Fuck it. I'm almost done streaming anyways once I'm done with this video, but I'll keep on the YouTube side. I guess Twitch viewers, sorry about that. I don't know how to fix the mic issue. If it was caused by a connection disturbance. Oh, man. Bummer. P.T. Barnum said there is a sucker born every minute, and Americans have been suckered into voting against their own interests repeatedly, especially stuff like union busting. I mean, it's not just them being suckers. I mean, there is a concerted effort, a concerted multi-generational effort to destroy unions from every conceivable angle. And both Democrats and Republicans fully bought into it. So it's hard to fight against that level of propaganda. I mean, unions used to be backed by the mob, and then once the mob went down, they were fair pickings for corporate-backed politicians to dismantle them. I have long since said we need to bring back the mob and link them up with unions again.
Congress has approved a rail reform to re-establish state control over railway services, particularly passenger rail service, clearing the way for her to realize ambitious rail development plan. Because this was a constitutional reform, the bill must go to state legislature for ratification. The legislation emphasizes that both passenger and freight transport are priority areas for national development, aligning with the principles outlined in Article 25 of the Constitution. One of the main features is that private companies already holding concessions for freight transport will also be able to obtain concessions for offering passenger transport services, as was Obrador's intention. In November 2024, it has been published that the government's budget for 2025 includes funding for the consolidation of passenger and freight trains, with $7.6 billion allocated for rail infrastructure. Not only that, but the new and revised National Railway Development Plan and the National Industrialization and Shared Prosperity Strategy, known as Plan Mexico, were launched in January 2025 by Sheinbaum as flagship development program, covering investments as well in electricity, electric vehicle assembly, and microprocessors. You'll quickly realize that President Sheinbaum means business when you hear that construction on the Mexico City-Pachuca rail line began as early as March 22nd. Admittedly, work started.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's not enough to just be like, I support this big initiative, I support that big initiative. You gotta get to work right away. You can't waste any fucking time. And honestly, like, it came out, I can't remember if it was today or yesterday, but it came out that, like, the Trump administration are drafting up plans to, like, conduct military operations against the cartel in Mexico, which is like, what, you're gonna fucking attack the CIA? Why would you attack your own CIA? But honestly, a lot of that kind of feels to be like, oh, Mexico is really committing on this socialism shit and, you know, investing in these kinds of infrastructure projects that could not only build up their internal economy, but can also better position themselves to connect their trade with China and the rest of the world if they have these coast-to-coast freight lines that can allow shippers to bypass the Panama Canal. And, you know, Brazil is building one too. This feels like, oh, we gotta fight, we gotta attack the cartel, is kind of like a flimsy excuse to do what America has always done in Central and South America, and that is, oh, there's a socialist president, time to go to war, time to do a coup or engage in some military operation. I was reading about an article in my area in the 1950s, and they mentioned the bartenders union. Bartenders had their own union people. That's not a surprise. A lot of people, milkmen had a union. I once watched a video of people in the Deep South that were on food stamps and shit voting against Obama, calling him names. Honestly, you also just can't fight stupid. Well, I mean, there's some of that, but I mean, places like Oklahoma and Kansas both used to be hotbeds for socialist parties and progressive activity. Like, there's been a lot of revisionist history around left politics in America, and especially in rural areas, in areas that are now conventionally or traditionally associated with right-wing politics. You know, redneck is a term that's used pejoratively, but redneck, the origin of the word redneck is rooted in labor. It was about oil rig workers who were unionized at the time and their efforts against union busting and all of that sort of shit that was going on during the labor revolution. Where's my thing? There it is. Okay.
Without the legally required environmental approval, but the Environment Ministry granted the permit just 6 days later. This passenger and freight line, with an initial cost of $2.4 billion is expected to open in the first half of 2027. It will run through 6 municipalities in Hidalgo and 4 in the neighboring state of Mexico. Another major project is the 227-kilometer rail line between Mexico City and Querétaro, which has been under construction since April 2025. The route will connect Mexico City's Buena Vista station to Santiago de Querétaro with a stop in San Juan del Rio. Featuring a single electrified track, the line is designed to serve up to 6 million passengers per year. Construction is scheduled to continue through 2027 with a projected cost of $3.8 billion. Travel time between Mexico City and Querétaro will be approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes, while the 105-kilometer trip to Pachuca will take around 1 hour and 20 minutes. In May 2025, 2 additional tenders were issued for new passenger rail corridors, Mexico City, San Luis Potosí.
If that's not high-speed rail, those are...
And Mexico...
Stop it. Shut up. If those aren't high-speed rail, then that's still pretty acceptable time. I mean, if it's not high-speed rail, then I just have to imagine how much quicker those trips would be if it was high-speed rail. I don't understand. If they're building these lines from scratch, why wouldn't they just go with high-speed rail to begin with? I was under the assumption that they were going to be sharing these lines with freights that are currently operating, which freight lines and high-speed rail lines are different things altogether. So that would have made sense for like a cost savings. But if you're already spending $2 or $3 billion putting down brand new lines, why not just start with high-speed rail? Americans are really meant to not be educated about those things from the get-go. Yes. We used to know how to do this stuff, but we tricked people into thinking the union just steals your dues. Yep. Easy to manipulate. Well, that video was from Mississippi. The sooner and more drastic you act after winning an election, the more political capital you have, and the slower it becomes expended. Expel the immigrants, then attack Mexico seems up Trump's alley. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that you should drastically spend your capital after winning an election, because you only, in America at least, you only have a very limited amount of time before a midterm election can potentially truncate your ability to do things. And you want to give people a reason to show up for those midterm elections. You want to, and like, this is a problem I have with Democrats in general. Like, even when they do good stuff, they never promote it. Like, they'll do good things and then just like never talk about it ever. And then they barely ever campaign on it. And I want them to be psychotic narcissists about all the good things they do. I want them to do Modi shit. Like, if you have a program where you're sending bags of food on every single piece of bag of food that gets distributed amongst those people, like, put your name on everything, celebrate everything, make ads about how great your programs are, throw community block parties in areas where, you know, that sort of thing would shore up your support in a potentially contested election. You know, reminding people, hey, we did this great thing. Remember this great thing we did? It was awesome, right? Yeah, we did that. Let's have a party about it. Like, do good shit, celebrate your wins, promote yourself shamelessly, and let people know that there is a tangible benefit towards voting for you. I voted for them, and then I got money. I voted for them, and now I can do this in my community. And they will never they will never stop reminding me that that is the case. Like, you just have to do that kind of shit. And even when Democrats do good things, they just don't. They just don't. And they cede so much of the propaganda ground to Republicans. And then they destroy everything. Any good thing that Democrats do instantly gets defunded and then stops working, and then Republicans point to it not working and being like, see, all their programs suck. Don't ever do that again. No, it started with mine workers in West Virginia. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the mine workers rather than the oil rigs. They were red bandanas around their necks to identify each other in large fights with federal troops and strike busters. Yeah. Okay, I was finally able to leave a link on Wait, what? I was finally able to leave a link on Discord for one of the Japanese vlog videos I'll talk about. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Audio just came back. Great. Thanks, Twitch. Thank you. I'm glad the audio's back. Yeah, audio's working again. That's why shit is working for Scheinbaum. She has a crazy approval rating.
There's no surprise there.
Wait, was that you, Taco? Were you just sitting in silence? Were you just sitting in silence waiting for the fucking audio to come back? Let's see. Her approval hovers over 75% in most polls. 75% approval rating. Her popularity alongside majorities in both the houses of Congress has aided the advancement of her reform agenda and that of her party, Morena. Hell yeah. 75% approval rating. You'll never hear about anything like that in America. Check out the Battle of Blair Mountain, 1921. 50 to 100 dead when 10,000 miners went up against 3,000 lawmen and various strikebreakers. Oh, those Pinkertons. She's out there talking about it. Democrats need cheerleaders. Mine workers. Yeah, that guy. Blankenship. Classic mine baron. He blew up the coal mine, and then he went to prison.
City Guadalajara. These projects are being procured under a design and construction contract model. Each corridor will include the development of passenger stations, double-track electrified rail, maintenance depots, and integration with existing infrastructure in and around Mexico City. Both corridors are expected to become high-capacity intercity routes connecting key urban and industrial centers across central and northern Mexico. The Mexican government is also preparing tenders for rail lines connecting Saltillo to Nuevo Laredo, crossing the northern states of Coahuila, Nuevo León, and Tamaulipas, as well as a line from Querétaro to Irapuato, passing through the states of Querétaro and Guanajuato. A second phase covering 910 kilometers will follow the affordable.
I don't know if this is an insensitive thing for me to say, if it makes me sound racist or whatever, but I do have to just point that every time I hear him say a town name, it makes me a little hungry. I don't know what a Saltillo is, but it sounds delicious to me. Maybe that just means I've been living in Texas for too long. I've been living in Texas for too long and also have very purposely have not been studying any amount of the Spanish language. It's a combination of those two things. So now every town name sounds like a delicious menu item. Nuevo León? They're pointing to Nuevo Laredo.
Mentioned lines and include the routes from Querétaro to San Luis Potosí,
Where is Nuevo
León to
León?
Guadalajara. The third phase will add another 1,145 kilometers with new lines connecting Guaymas to Hermosillo, Guadalajara to Tepic, San Luis Potosí to Saltillo, and Los Mochis to Guaymas. Additionally, a 552-kilometer section, including the Tepic-Mazatlan and Hermosillo-Nogales lines, will be incorporated, bringing the total length of new railway routes to 3,393 kilometers. In addition to these central routes, the government's ongoing infrastructure investment program also includes two near-complete mega-projects. Tren Maya, a 1,554-kilometer passenger railway crossing the Yucatan Peninsula, which began construction in 2020, and the Interoceanic Corridor of the Isthmus of Tehuantepec, a freight and passenger route connecting the Gulf of Mexico to the Pacific Ocean. Construction on the Interoceanic Corridor also started in 2020, with freight and passenger services launching in 2023. This route spans 303 kilometers across Mexico's narrowest point. The goal was to establish a competitive alternative to the Panama Canal, particularly for container traffic. According to the Financial Times, the project aims to capitalize on multinational corporations' growing desire to relocate closer to the United States while addressing disruptions caused by increasingly frequent droughts affecting the Panama Canal. Revitalizing this historic railway could allow cargo ships to unload on one coast, transport goods across the isthmus by rail, and reload them onto another vessel.
Well, also, additional benefit of that for a lot of transnational companies is helps them skirt tariffs. It's a good way to it's a good way for people on the other side of the Atlantic to get items for cheap from China or Southeast Asian manufacturers without having to go through the Panama Canal or without having to ship all the way around Argentina and Patagonia, or without having to or without having to go the other way around through the Strait of Hormuz or the Suez Canal and the always not volatile area of the Middle East. Really? His accent doesn't sound very Mexican to me. Oh, no, I'm not saying his accent. I'm just saying, I was just talking about the names of the places. He mentioned Nuevo Leon, my home state. Oh, okay. Yeah. He's definitely pronouncing the names correctly. I hear Spanish-based accent here. Spanish is my first language, and his cadence is off just enough to make me do a double take. I mean, I don't know this channel, so I have no idea where this dude actually is from. But I didn't clock his pronunciations as being like off, but I didn't also clock him as being Mexican.
On the opposite coast.
I don't know where this dude's from.
This development has the potential to significantly impact not just Mexican trade, but also international and global supply chains. Together, all these projects, along with the upcoming tenders, form part of a $58 billion multi-administration public rail investment aimed at reshaping national mobility, linking regional economies, and reviving long-distance passenger rail travel across Mexico. To close this video, we want to acknowledge the Mexican government's efforts to revive its rail network and its vision for a modern, efficient intercity and regional rail system operating at speeds of 160 to 200 kilometers per hour. Whether viewed as a model for how countries should approach rail infrastructure in the 21st century or simply as a beacon of hope, it shows that rail, thanks to its many advantages and efficiency, can become the backbone of mobility for the people of Mexico and for everyone who visits this remarkable country. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more railway content from around the world. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to
Railways Explained. Oh, I'll hit this video with a like. He did a good job talking about, I don't know where, let me see if there's any. I'm a Mexican railway. I should have read some of those comments. Maybe I'll come back to it. If this fucking page would actually goddamn load. I don't know why it's so fucking slow right now. I hate this fucking browser. It used to not be shit, but now it's just dog shit. It used to not be dog shit, but now this browser is just pure dog shit.
Dear friends and rail lovers, welcome
fucking
to
shut up. Shut up.
Railways Explained.
Shut up.
You know,
let me see. All right, I clicked on that. 12 years later, this shit's gonna fucking load. I really need to spend time transitioning to a different browser. Hi guys, let's introduce ourselves. We are 3 college days roommates, current friends and colleagues, and we are working as railway engineering professionals in different fields. Here on Railway Explains, we strive to cover a variety of topics. Okay. Okay. Railway engineers, but nothing explicitly explained. That's whatever. That's no big deal. I'm going to subscribe. Oh, god damn it. Fucking, I was going to click on that goddamn button. There. Let me click on the fucking button. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is a nightmare. Czech Republic's high-speed rail is coming. How Austria powers its trains with 100% renewable energy. That sounds cool. Why, oh my god, why is this taking so fucking long just to reload the page I was already on? Am I having internet issues or something? I'm not seeing any notifications. Fucking A, man. I think it's just this browser. RAM usage from browser probably. Streams look fine. Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's why I hate this fucking browser now. It used to be way more efficient than it is right now. And I don't know why. I don't have that many tabs open. I'm a Mexican railway engineer student. All of these projects are actually well on their way to being constructed. As a matter of fact, my own career was personally commissioned by the federal government in 2020 to prepare for all the upcoming projects. I'll be glad to answer any questions or comments you all may have about Mexican rail infrastructure and upcoming routes. Okay, that guy's just being a pal. I hope Mexico will succeed with its rail plans. Greeting from Germany. I'm pro-train travel, and this is amazing news. Mexico will show the Americas that train travel is still good. As a Mexican, I find it absurd when people reject a national rail transport project for not being economically viable. Like what? Exactly which public service does our government provide that makes a lot of profit? Yeah, like that's another thing. Is like these fucking things don't need to be profitable. Like the idea that we have to look at every single fucking service as, what are the profits? How many profits are you going to make? How much are the profits going to be? The profits. We have to look at the fucking profits. Like it doesn't have to be profits. It's not profits. No profits. No profits. It's just a service you provide to the fucking people, all right? You can get profit. If you want profits, open a coffee shop somewhere. That's where you can get your profits. Like this is about providing a public service that makes your society better. You know, it can make things safer for everybody, taking cars off the road, giving drunk people an alternative to get to and from places, giving old people who shouldn't be driving an alternative to get to and from places. You know, it can connect cities, it could inspire commerce, it could do all sorts of things that are much more beneficial for a society at large beyond just individually driving up profits. Like it's the same thing with the fucking post office. Like the post office does not, and nor should it ever be geared towards independently generating a fucking profit for itself. Because the service that it provides helps generate fucking profits and revenue for an innumerable amount of other industries. It's just such stupid barbarian brain thinking, and I fucking hate it whenever I hear people talk about public works that way. Toll-free highways definitely aren't making a coin, and everyone loves to complain when they charge. With this, I'm not defending the execution. The Maya train, for example, is riddled with irregularities, but rather the nature of the importance of a project like this. Maybe dialing back how much oil we burn, shipping junk all over the planet, most of which will end up in a landfill or floating in the ocean, is a good thing. We beat the crap out of the environment. Yeah, that's true. That's true too, but I don't know if that's ever going to change. That won't change until the entire global economy adapts a classless, stateless, scarcity-free environment where everybody's material needs are met and there is no such thing as like a profit motive. So like a lot of that junk that ends up in the ocean is a function of profit chasing. You got to sell as many Tamagotchis to as many fucking 12-year-olds as you possibly can. So just start making Tamagotchis. What happens after they get them, we don't give a fuck. If they end up floating in the water, who cares? That's the ocean's problem, not mine. Just make Tamagotchis. Make them. Keep making them. And don't stop making them. If it comes up to northern Tamaulipas, You bet I'm going to be going to Mexico every weekend and going on train rides. Hell yeah, you should. Shame FDR couldn't have just been immortal and been president for hundreds of years. Money good. I wouldn't be surprised if we sell the national park system now. We have entered the American idiocracy for real. Oh, we've been there for a very long time. I don't know. We're about to transition into something else. I just don't know what that something else is going to be. We're either going to transition into like the American Socialist Revolution. And we see that because there are more and more guys like Campia and his buddy who are like ranting against the greed of capitalist interest. It's not just me anymore. It's pretty much everybody out there that has even a microcosm of interest in scratching the surface on what's actually causing our affordability crisis. Almost all inevitably end up going on a something akin to an anti-capitalist rant. So we're either going to head in that direction, or we're just going to go full on into like the purge levels of anarcho-capitalism. Fascistic anarcho-capitalism. And we're kind of seeing some elements of that, like some real Hunger Games type shit developing out of DC. I wouldn't be surprised if we sell. Oh yeah, I already read that. We already sell oil. We already sell oil right in the Alaskan wildfires areas. Man, I wish we could be talking about the rail system they're building here. 5 years ago, the city of Austin pretty overwhelmingly voted for an expansion, or voted for Project Connect, which was an expansion of the shitty light rail that we have here. Project Connect was supposed to build out our light rail system within the city to make its service actually useful for the people that live here, for at least a larger subset of the people that live here. And 5 years later, they still haven't broken ground. They're talking about how Claudia Sheinbaum broke ground on some of her rail projects, in early March. This is she's still in the first year of her tenure. And 5 years later, we still haven't broken ground on Project Connect. And that is largely a function of our bullshit Attorney General, Ken Paxton. But it's insane that even just one guy, who is a criminal in his own right, every bit a criminal in his own right, he should be dying in a prison somewhere, he has the ability to completely single-handedly usurp the will of, like, the voters of not only an incredibly large city, but like the capital city. It makes me incredibly frustrated that we can't be talking about, oh yeah, we're building our own rail system here. I can't say the things that I wish would happen to that fucking guy. I can't say the things that I would wish happened to that guy. I would be banned from every platform imaginable. But I can think it, and so can you. And Coca-Cola says recycling is our responsibility to save the environment, not theirs to find a better bottle that, while less profitable, is environmentally degradable. Why would they ever do that? They've got to focus on their profits. They're just like Netflix and Paramount Plus. They don't give a shit about how they're impacting you as a consumer. They don't give a shit how they're impacting you as like a citizen of the earth. They don't give a shit about how they're impacting you as one of their employees. Their only interest is making as much money as humanly possible. What is this? No, that's not the one I want. Alright, well, knock this one off the list. That's 2 videos tonight. I wasn't expecting them to last as long as they did. I want to watch this one too. This is also Mexico related. This is from CNBC, how Chinese EVs are taking over Mexico. But maybe I'll watch this one. Maybe I'll watch this one tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'll game tomorrow. Maybe I'll watch this tomorrow. Maybe I'll do both tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Money good, everything else not important. When has any company ever cared about any of it? Oh, I'm sure there's a couple out there somewhere. Ben & Jerry's seems like they're pretty ethically run. There was also a Greek yogurt place that seemed like they were pretty ethically run too, but I forget the name of it. Oh man, all right, it's 1 a.m., which is the latest I've streamed on a school night in a while. Taco is jamming out to the grooves over there, but I'm gonna have to call it for the night. All right, thank you everybody for joining me. I appreciate it as always, especially sticking around after Twitch decided to shit the bed. I don't know why it did that, but I guess it did that. Suki must have taken the day off. I turn Caster Labs off whenever I do a react because it's much harder to do that whenever Caster Labs is speaking over the video we're watching. So I could turn her back on. All right. Oh shit, I got 2 threes. Hold on a second.
Genetic Memory Farms said, I think we will soon all be forced to make a choice. As consumers, we have to stop consuming so much from terrible companies and at least try to use what buying power we have. Lesser of evils, etc. Street Corner Becky said that, and for the edited videos, Caster Labs is a bit of a distraction.
Alright, I got a 5. Shit, I was on a roll. I thought I was gonna... Oh, fuck. 10. Damn, I started off with 2 threes and thought that I was gonna... Thought that I had some. Okay, I could do better than 10. I gotta do better than 10 on the way out. 1. Alright, I'll keep that 1.
Street Corner Becky said, bro, I'm in my 40s. I know, watch movies and whatever. Life is too short to think anything is changing.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm gonna keep that 3. Right now I'm at 1. If I keep this 1, I'm gonna keep this 1. All right, so I'm at 2. I'm at 2 now. Oh hell yeah! Okay, 4. I'll leave with the 4. 4 is good. 4 is hard to beat. I used to go to a bar downtown back when I was super broke. Like I would have like $1. That's all I had. And I'd be like, well, can't really drink with $1. Thank you. Thank you.
Jaggy Bunny said that's kind of a big ask since you have to offer people an existing alternative if you want them to change.
And like...
Haunted Taco 12 just redeemed the call.
My buddies would be
said Haunted Deco 12 has redeemed a
my buddies
for
would be
100 points.
would be crouched in the corner playing threes, and we would all play for dollars.
Said, hey.
So we would toss $1 in the pile, and whoever won all the dollars. So I would come with my $1 knowing that was it. And sometimes I would win, and I would win my drinking money for the night. But sometimes I lost my $1, and I'd be like, all right, I guess I'm gonna be bumming drinks off of people. So this is a throwback for me. This is a throwback to me. It's kind of a big ask since you have to have other people offer people an existing alternative. You want them to change. I don't know what you're referring to there. Responding to genetic memory farms. Yo, what's up, Arachnid? Welcome back to the stream, although I'm about to end it right now. You're coming in on the tail end of some spicy hot takes.
Arachnid Soul said unreported earnings. I'm calling Uncle Sam at Ye Old Nerdcast. $4 or $5 you got over the years under the table.
Oh, well, you know, those were paid
Jackie
for
Bunny
to
said yes.
Lone Star. Those were paid for to Lone Star beer. So, don't know what to say about that. Let's see. Oh, this is probably gonna take fucking forever too.
Genetic Memory Farm said change has to be self-motivated to mean anything. Maybe a big ask, but not really. Consumers will have to if they want to exist or have a future for their kids.
What? Why is it displaying like this? Where's all my shit? Oh, there it is. All right, I am going to head out. Draggy, I don't know if you've subscribed to my new channel, but I'm gonna continue to post the link here for anybody else who is not aware. I have
Old Nerdcast sent a link.
I have a new podcast that I do updates on Tuesdays, so I would appreciate it if you haven't already subscribed to hit the subscribe, listen, hit the like button.
Draggy Bunny said no. People won't stop buying food from big companies at a cheaper price unless they have an alternative from community level already in place. Arachnid Soul said nicked everyone. Draggy Bunny said, for example. Haunted Taco 12 said IRS, irrefutably run scam. Draggy Bunny said done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Alright. I guess you guys can continue to have whatever debate you're having in the YouTube chat. But me, I gotta get out of here. It's way past my log off time. It's coming close to my bedtime. I'm gonna go turn in. I gotta chase these goddamn cats out of my room. I hate to disappoint you guys, but I do not sleep.
12 said the only debate I'm going to have is with my eyelids.
I don't sleep with the kitties in my room. I can't because they're psychos. They'd wake me up. Plus, their food and litter box isn't in there, and I have to keep the door closed when I go to sleep because an open door bothers me. I don't like doors open when I'm sleeping. It bothers me. So, for that reason, I can't have the cats in the room with me when I'm sleeping, but they hang out in there all day when I'm not in there. Or if I'm in there too, they'll hang out with me if I'm in there. We all took a nap in my bed earlier. But I have to chase them out. So I'm probably going to get into a protracted fight doing that now. But thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow.
Said night.
I'll be back tomorrow. So hopefully I see you guys back here again tomorrow. But if not, take care and I'll see you when I see you. Later, everyone.
Genetic Memory Farms said yup, My choice was to plant a garden and can food. Not hard to do, plants do the work. Our parents and grandparents' parents and great-grandparents did it. Current generations think it is too hard. Dad Dude Vince said it's hard to do if you don't have a place to plant stuff. Dad Dude Vince said just remember, not everyone has the same access to whatever that you might. Genetic Memory Farm said I did it in an apartment in plastic tubs. Super cheap and easy.